Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. It's time to kick off our Week 2 Winter Rumble games. Here for Esports Tower, all of our teams from last week are back, hoping to end our Week 2 Rumble with a victory in the Cup stage. Who will come out on top and build momentum heading into Week 3? Only time will tell. I'm your host, Artie Nerdy Bird Rain, and joining me to call all of the action is Jem Jacob Palmer. All right, Jem, so we've got a lot of Esports Tower teams. However, there are two teams that are not from the Esports Tower here tonight, and that is the Thunderbirds and the Vandergrift Vipers. What are your initial thoughts about these two teams?
Well, it's really interesting because if you remember, Nerdy, when the Esports Tower kind of started out, when we were there for the first broadcast, it was much more of a mix of high school and Esports Tower teams kind of fighting against each other. So it's really exciting to kind of bring some of these high school teams back. And I think a big advantage that a lot of these high school teams have is they're often made of three players who have already been, playing casually as a team. So they usually have that communication advantage versus some of the teams that are formed together versus more very highly ranked solo players. So it's going to be interesting to see how those team dynamics shape up as we're going to be going into our Cup games now.
We've also seen in the past that sometimes those high school teams have Esports Tower players on their side as well. Giving them a little bit of insider info can be a slight advantage for them. Also this week we do not have the Barracudas as they were not available last week, allowing the stage to be opened up a little bit more for those quintessential teams that have been rising to the top, such as the Eagles and the Mammoths. So we'll have to see if this opportunity will shine on them tonight for them to come out on top within their Cup games.
Yeah, they've been a real great team that's been really hard to beat, and with some of the top-tier teams like Barracudas kind of sitting out this week, it's really given the Eagles more of an opportunity to maybe kind of claim that top status that they've been after for so furiously.
And since we've hinted at it a little bit, this week is a little bit different. Last week was our our group stages, and this week is going to be our Cup games. We'll give you a quick breakdown of those. Those Cups are the Octane Cup, the Fennec, the Breakout, and the Dominus Cup. So it's going to be a very long best-of-7 series for all of these teams. So they're going to have a lot of endurance as we go into these first games, which our first one of the night is going to be the Landslides versus the Gators.
And the Landslides versus the Gators have been a team that they've had some really great series. They've had some series that haven't been off. They've been kind of a team that's been hot and cold, really. So seeing which Gators show up is really going to be interesting, I think.
Hopefully it's the hot Gators, because of course we always want to see these teams come out with the best possible outcomes and start as big and loud as they possibly can. We'll get a quick look at the rosters for tonight, as in all of the teams that will be competing. There's quite a long list. It's going to be the Hammerheads, the Mammoths, the Landslides, the ECSS Thunderbirds, the Gators, Eagles, Vipers, and the Ghosts, but they have rebranded this evening as the Panthers, so be sure to keep that in mind. They are still a team that we've seen more than once here at Esports Tower Rumble. And before we get into our first match of the night, we'd like to remind our friends on Twitch that you should support your teams, celebrate successes, be respectful to the other fans, and mods will remove anyone who will violate these chat rules. And then some extra things that those players who are watching want to keep in mind, and hopefully those who are playing this evening as well will remember our Docs Keys to the Game in Rocket League. They're presented to you today by esportstower.com. Those keys to the game are create mistakes, punish the overcommits, play walls better, and demo in the goal. Docs Keys to the Game are presented today by esportstower.com. Score pro advice at Esports Tower. Improve your game sense, improve your team play, improve your performance under pressure. You'll get matched with great players and professional coaches to help you rank up.
And now we are just about ready to head in. The Breakout Cup's going to be the first one we're covering, and the Breakout Cup usually for those teams that kind of had a tougher time in the group stage, maybe had some tough matchups going on, but they still have a lot of talent. They want to show that they can get some wins, maybe get a cup title under their belt. So hopefully for these two teams, the Landslides and Gators, we'll see which one can build up some momentum and maybe go into Week 3 group stage with a spring in their step.
Yes, so good luck to both teams. We're about to jump into our first Cup game of the night. The Gators have been improving week by week and looking to burst into the top team. So the Landslides are an outside team under the Esports Tower banner looking for a win.
Yeah, Landslide's usually a name that we've seen in the Valorant Rumble, so it's going to be interesting to see what sort of players under this team banner are going to be branching out into Rocket League as well. So we're ready to head into the first match of the night.
It does look like we popped in just a couple seconds after that first initial kickoff. Got Bagel grabbing that ball off the wall. They do have a little bit of pressure on them. Zero might be able to get a touch on it and get this ball out of range. However, that high pop will allow Fire. Eventually will get a shot in on goal. It's going to be turned away by Flare.
Now in midfield, Landslides are looking to get control and are going to score on a very wide open goal.
That is punishing that overcommit like Docs Keys mentioned. That was well done. those rotations are very key. You got to make sure that you have that midline pressure and not overcommitting. Sometimes it works in your favor, but more often than not, we see it turn into an Achilles heel for these teams.
Now on to the next kickoff, going slightly in favor of the Landslides, actually very much in favor. Scoring right off the kickoff again, Gravity Flare with their second.
The third kickoff's going to go in favor of the Landslides yet again, and it's going to go right to the goal. Gravity Flare just goes swooping in. That was spicy.
Now with the 2-0 lead, Landslides really looking like they are in control right now, especially winning another kickoff. They're going to force the Gators to try to chase after that ball as Rainey tries to head down, get control of it, and it's trying to score on their own on an open goal.
A slight touch there from Gravity Flare. Didn't make too much of a difference. Wouldn't have been a full redirect anyway. That was Rainey's goal through and through. You can see that slight touch from Gravity. It happens. Own goals occur all the time in Rocket League. We've got 4 minutes and 20 seconds still left on the clock. Plenty of time for redemption.
Now off the wall, another great kickoff for the Landslides. They've been very consistently winning these. Stoke is waiting back here for the play to him. He's just going to pass it back over toward the corner, trying to play around Fiery to find some sort of centering. He's going to head over Gravity there, giving Rainey the opportunity to try to clear this, but doesn't have necessarily anyone to pass to. So it's just going to be left for the Landslides to try to clear themselves.
Rainey did a little bit of great disruption there, using their car to push Toke away from that ball, allowing their team to get a little bit more field space, but the ball's already crossed that midfield, and Gravity is taking another shot on goal with some help from Toke. That was some great teamwork right there. Awesome passing and communication and rotating coming out from the Landslides. The Gators have some great pressure happening as well. They just need to start getting in these passing lanes faster in order to stop these goals from happening.
Now 3 minutes, 46 seconds left in this first game. There was still a lot of Rocket League left to play and a lot of time for the Gators to try to stage a rally here. We're going to see how they do it. Right now, Toke is going to look on as Gravity tries to get another shot on goal. Going to be saved and deflected by Bagel. Now the Gators go on the counterattacks, but Z-Rio takes it away from them, leaves it back over and centers it up beautifully toward the open goal, but it looks like a whiff there is going to spoil that opportunity.
Fire Mitchell's trying to corral the ball with a little bit of help from Rainey. Rainey has Zero racing for the ball. Zero gets it first, plays it off the ceiling, plays it around one, but Bagel will grab it off that back wall, redirecting it to the side where Gravity was waiting, however. Fire Mitchell's going to come in to help Bagel out. Toke takes a shot on goal. Bagel gets a slight touch on it. It does not go in. That crossbar is a saving grace for every team, but a secondary shot will be turned away by Rainey. Bagel now has to get this clear to Gravity's going to take another shot on that goal.
Bagel trying to, looks like we actually have a, I don't know what was going on there. All three members were kind of bunched up in the corner. Again, you kind of see two committing to that ball right there. I don't know what's going on with the Gators in terms of communication, but something must have broken down there if all three members were kind of going after the ball in that corner.
Slight car pileup happens when you're going Mach 12 on the field sometimes. It looks like that situation's been rectified as a great clear has happened here into the corner, but Zero beat any of the Gators to that ball. Now trying to corral it. Fiery Mitchell gets in there, steals it away for a moment. Gravity Flare comes in to help out. Bagel will redirect it, sending the volley back towards the Landslide side of the field. Already passed back to the corner though.
Now a slight elevate up there from Toke, trying to squeeze it over, leaving it for Gravity, who is able to follow up off of the save from Bagel, pick up a hat trick.
See how Gravity Flare has a lot of shots on goal already. 3 saves, that's fabulous. Bagel is starting to climb, got 2 of those saves for their own team, as does Rainey, but the badges right now are heavily in favor of the Landslides. Gators just need to start controlling the pace of this round in order to get this more in favor of themselves, but at the end of the day, this is still a best of 7, so this could be an entire just analytic stage as we see Fire Mystical take it out by 0 right there.
Yeah, it's really only been 1 shot on goal from the Gators, so side control is definitely, they've been able to get some side control, but they just really haven't been good at converting that into some offensive attempts, whereas Landslides really have been doing a better job in that in terms so far, as Bagel is trying to center it up and set it up and sees the opening there, but the shot is very slow and just to the left, and that was very easy for the Landslides to clear back.
It was a double commit as well from the Gators, allowing this turnaround from the Landslides to happen quickly. There was a demo on 0 though, so that'll slow things down just enough for the Gators to volley the ball back to the Landslide side of the field. It's in the corner, but Gravity is corralling it off that back wall. Rainey's trying to prevent the turnover from occurring, bringing it up the side, centering it up. There's Bagel at the mid. Will Bagel be able to get in there? They will not. It's going to be spiked again by one of the Landslides members and followed up by Gravity.
Now leaving it down there, just a bomber from way back on the field, kind of perfectly aimed there by Gravity. Just one of those you don't expect to really go in, but it was just perfectly aimed, and I don't necessarily know if that was an intentional goal, but he'll definitely take it.
Right now, the Landslides are in the lead by 4 with a minute left on the clock. That's a heavy task for the Gators to close that gap. However, a common theme for a lot of these esports tower teams is the first round tends to not be the story of the evening, as they'll come back with a drastically different tempo and pace for the next round. Let's hope that's what we start seeing here pretty soon, as Toke gets a great clear, but it is going to be stopped at the mid by Fiery Minstrel, who's doing their best just to create pressure and be a force on the field to disrupt the Landslides players.
Now 40 seconds left. Toke trying to make another play happen, just make the goal gap open up even wider there as Gravity tries for another follow-up by Toke off the right post, and Gravity just doing some acrobatics to get the goal.
In this replay, you might be able to see it here. There actually was, it looked like Toke went in and dragged Rainey down into the goal with them, creating that opening for their teammates to score. It may not have been a demolition like Docs Keys mentioned, but that's close enough. That's creating those mistakes, using the car without having to put yourself out of position to do so.
Now a slide shot toward the goal from Fiery. That's only going to really be the second time the Gators even did a shot on goal.
Gravity slowed down quite a bit there, trying to go for a little bit of a different tempo to get another goal. And the goal for the Landslides, though, is currently completely open. They've already rotated back, and they have ball possession on their side of the field, with the clock ticking down to that 5-second mark. The Gators just trying to stop another goal from happening, and it will be stopped by Rainey. Now the ball's just got to hit the ground now, and the round is over. Maybe we'll see one goal scored for the Gators. You know, in spirit, I'm going to count that one. That was pretty darn close, and I know that the laws of the game are not in favor of that one, but that was definitely a goal for the Gators. I feel like at the end of the day, we still have at least 4 more games left in this series, hopefully, and we'll probably see the Gators turning around here in this next one. What do you think, Jem?
Well, I think one thing is they got to work on being able to dash toward the ball off the kickoff more often. I think the Landslides definitely got a few of their goals very quick off of a kickoff, and it was just consistently, I didn't really see the Gators getting any of those. So being able that even if you can't maybe get the first touch on the ball off the kickoff, maybe just making sure you have members hanging back there to be able to play back off of the kickoff and not leave your goal wide open so soon afterwards. If you know that the other team, the Landslides, are going to be a team that's very aggressive off of the initial play, then you're going to have to respond to that.
All right, so those are Jem's keys to the game. Let's hope they come to fruition here for the Gators as they're looking to come out on top of this next one. They need to make sure that they secure one of these wins in order to take us into an extended series here. Bagel does have the ball on the back wall of the field. It's on their side. He grabs that. Toke grabbed the boost before anyone else could. Gators are hurting on that resource front just a tiny bit. We do also have a sub in for, it looks like the Landslides, as Uwu is coming, unless that's one of their players who decided to change their name, because gotta love Psionics for allowing that to occur at any possible moment.
Yeah, and I see my professionalism, my credentials going away every time I'm going to have to say that gamer tag now. Well, here we go. Gravity is going to be in the corner trying to find a clear, but Fiery getting a tap on it, leaving it up for Rainey to try to push it, but it's going to be pushed off to the right side instead. They're not going to get credited with any shot on goal right now.
Rainey had another shot, however, it's that really almost flat angle to the goal. It's extremely difficult to get that one in. Side control definitely more prominent right now from the Gators. They're spread out more. Their rotations are a little bit cleaner. After all, it's only been the first minute, though. Rainey gets a shot on goal. It's going to hit the top wall. That backboard just a little bit too high. Bagel has the opportunity to turn this one around, but Uwu and Gravity will stop it at the midfield. Uwu with possession has Bagel hot on their tires right now. Bagel gets a great clear into the back corner. They need to center it up for someone that goes off that back wall. It looks like Toke might beat Fiery to that ball. A little bit of help here from Rainey might be able to keep possession in favor of the Gators.
Bagel's going to elevate up in midfield, stop that clear from going through, keeping the side control on the side of the Gators, and now that's a great opportunity for them. Can they follow up on it? And doesn't quite look like it yet. But still the side control being kept by Fiery, and another great shot by Bagel. They're definitely trying to open up more opportunities here.
Unfortunately, our tracker does not award any of those shots on goal. They're just a little bit too wide for the game to consider it one, but we definitely have seen a lot more life coming out of the Gators in this first 2 minutes than we did in the last game. as I mentioned earlier, they tend to be a little bit more analytical in that first round, and Rainey gets a shot on goal with a little bit of help from Bagel, but it's going to be far too wide as that angle, once again, was borderline parallel with the goal. Uwu has possession. It does get stolen away and spiked high. Bagel tries to elevate and take the ball away from Toke. With a little help from Rainey, it looks like this ball might get cleared back to the other side of the field, but now Gravity comes in and scores, just beaming it into the center of that goal.
Gravity really has been the star player for the Landslides. Really the first major play that's kind of made the game, or at least been able to show up on the activity feed. We basically went halftime with basically nothing showing up for any of the players.
That is definitely a sign of some good soccer and good Rocket League, is taking over half the round to have anything pop up on that scoreboard. Definitely more even matched than our first round here. Let's see if the Gators can turn this one around and get one goal here to bring us to even one aside. Toki's going to be coming in on Bagel with a little help from Uwu. It will get shot to the side of the field, and Gravity will come in to volley it back towards the Gators' goal.
Well, I'll give it this. It certainly feels more like watching regular soccer. You know, those 0-0 ties after 1 hour has passed. So both these teams being really good on the defense, though, not allowing too many really good shots on goal opening up for the other teams. But Gravity's going to try to change it here with some help.
Oh, Bagel, that was a beautiful shot. Toke just barely got that save with a little help from that crossbar. We see a demo come out on Gravity. This might be an opportunity for the next 2 seconds for the Gators to get this ball back on the other side of the field. Fiery's trying to corral the ball down. Uwu would get taken out by Bagel, opening the field just a little bit more. Bagel gets a great clear, now has to race down to beat Gravity Flare here in front of the goal. Uwu will elevate and spike the ball, and unfortunately, slight overcommit from the Gators. The rotations are going to be messed up for a couple seconds here as a goal is going to be shot on, and a Fiery Minstrel will get taken out. Gravity will capitalize on that, finding goal number 2.
Been the main player, and that was a great play by Fiery, but that's kind of Doc's keys that we were talking about. Use that demo to take out the goalie, see your opening, and follow up.
It's perfect. That's highlight reel quality there. However, it's only goal number 2, and 90 seconds is plenty of time left on the clock for the Gators to find 2 goals themselves. But Toke might turn that gap even larger. Never mind, Bagel will send that ball right across the field. Uwu's racing back to try and get a touch on it. Rainey's going to take a shot on goal. I don't think it's going to be able to be stopped, and it will go in. Gators have their first goal of this round. Just one more goal to bring them equal with the Landslides, and one extra for security before that timer runs out, and they'll walk away with our Game 2 win.
Yeah, a bit of panic from the Landslides, kind of all of their members trying to race after it there.
Huge thing to remember, though, is that these players, have to anticipate this being a best-of-7 series here. So that means they have to play with an equal amount of energy for all of them, lest they get too exhausted and start losing gas when it's quintessential for them to come out on top of these games. That might be something that the Gators can use to their advantage, as the best-of-7 is something that Esports Tower has done in the past, and mental exhaustion plays a large part into your ability to play these games.
We're going to have 1 minute left, so Landslides would really like to open up an insurance goal there. That's going to be a good clear for them to start off their play. One of them's going to have to elevate up. It looks like there might have been 2 trying to commit on that. Initially, we'll see if that kind of disrupts this play. They're going to have to go back and try to stop a clear from the Gators here.
We did see a slight double commit between Fiery and Toke, it looked like earlier. It would allow the Gators to get a great clear. The goal is wide open. If Rainey can beat Uwu to that ball, they have an opportunity to get a shot on goal. Fiery will corral into the corner, bringing it up high, playing it off the back wall to see if they can center it up for one of their teammates. They will get booped, though. Fiery Mitchell now retreating. Bagel trying to grab that ball off the side before Gravity Flare comes in. Uwu will spike them against the wall, however. Fiery maintaining possession. We've got 7 seconds left on the clock. If this ball touches the ground now, the Gators are going to lose their opportunity to tie up the second game.
That's going to be the ball grounded right there. The Landslides are looking to really go undefeated so far. They really had control of that game. Actually, they didn't have side control that often. That's kind of interesting.
I really like this new graphic. It's not something I've been able to see before, but the side control was definitely more in favor of the Gators for this round. It's just that boost usage, definitely they're getting starved a little bit. Not a key that we see all the time talked about as much anymore, but boost starvation, taking away those resources, can make it very difficult for a team to turn even a great clear into a goal-scoring opportunity.
Well, and I think those stats really reveal kind of this key thing that I think the Gators are struggling with is yes, they can get the clear and yes, they can get a bit of side control, but when the landslides are after a goal, they're very good at communicating with each other and having another follow-up shot, one, sometimes two follow-up shots on goal. I'm just not seeing that many follow-ups from the Gators once their initial shot on goal is deflected. And having your ability to communicate with your teammates to get 3, possibly 4, 5 shots on goal back to back to back, one of those is going to go in, and I think that's why you're seeing the landslides pull away here.
The Gators have some pretty strong players on their roster. Fiery, Mitchell, and Bagel typically are powerhouses when it comes to scoring goals, but Fiery seems like they're holding back, trying to ensure that that goal is not left wide open, as does Bagel, waiting at that midfield quite a bit. It shows great discipline. However, they need to have more faith in their teammates, as Rainey has been all over the place, able to get a lot of possession of this ball. So long as they have that trust in one another, I feel as though they can start bringing this back, and Bagel plays it around 2, and that goal is wide open for them to score that first goal.
Yeah, that's just some great solo play. Sometimes you just see a player rise to the occasion, already playing it around 1 and 2, and goal wide open. That's going to be added to your highlight reel.
We're showing even more signs of life for the Gators right now. That was the quickest goal we've seen come from them, and this is game 3 of our best of 7. Right now, it's time to start turning things around, hoping, at least for the Gators, that the landslide is starting to get a little exhausted, but Toke and Gravity Flare are not showing signs of that, of any sort of energy loss just yet, as they've scored their first goal for the landslides.
Yeah, just look at the positioning there on the field. That's exactly what I was talking about. If Toke wasn't going to get the ball off that kickoff, Gravity Flare set it up. Toke was the follow-up, and then Uwu was the follow-up for the follow-up. So they're all very good and organized in how they position themselves trying to get goals.
We had a great push forward and rotation there from Bagel and Fiery. Fiery stayed at the mid, and we opened up the opportunity for Rainey to get in a better position. Now we got Bagel with another shot on goal. It's going to hit that corner post. We do see Toke get taken out by Bagel. Gravity Flares getting multiple saves in a row now. Uwu has possession, has to play it around Bagel, does just that, has to play it around Fiery though. Fiery will get in there as we see Rainey rotate back. Toke bringing the ball off the ceiling, trying to center it up for someone, will not find it as Bagel spikes it to the side, and Gravity will not be able to prevent that ball from crossing the midfield, but Uwu comes racing in just in time to follow it up.
Ooh, there goes flying right past the goal there. A little bit of shot off to the corner. It's going to fly over Fiery, who can't elevate up high enough. Goal left open, and Toke sees their opportunity, but just a little bit of barely a touch from the Gators is going to be enough to deflect that.
We've got Rainey trying to play it around Uwu right now. With a little bit of help from Fiery, they'll manage to get it away from the landslides here on the landslide side of the field, but Toke will beat out Rainey to that ball. Bagel trying to help out. Unfortunately, will redirect it back towards their own goal. Not a situation you want to do when you've overcommitted in this situation. Toke and Fiery will collide a little bit. There's a slight car pileup, allowing Bagel to get a couple moments of reprieve. Uwu trying to corral it here in the corner. Fiery ends up with that ball, plays it around 1, trying to play it around another, but Gravity will prevent that shot on goal from going in.
Bit of a back pass toward their own goal the landslide's going to take. Can be a bit risky. Gravity Flare doesn't get exactly kind of the angle that they wanted off of that clear. Even the Gators wide open to save it back, keep their side control going. How can they set it up for themselves, though? Fiery is able to steal the corner boost away from the landslides. Now Uwu sees their opening, is going to try to play it off the wall, going to follow it up toward Gravity Flare, playing it off toward the front post here. Is now going to try to set it up. You see Toke trying to follow up, but the Gators are going to be able to deflect that and get their side control back.
Got Uwu racing back to try and stop that ball. It did get just enough of an angle to not go into that goal, but we've got Fiery and Bagel here. Slight breakdown in communication will allow Uwu to grab it and play it around 2 of them. Play it around Fiery. Rainey is there, though. Steals that ball away, sends it back to the mid. Gravity spikes it up. It is slowing down, though. Toke drops it back down on the ground. Uwu is elevating to get it off the side wall to center it up for one of their teammates, but none of them are there as they've rotated back. Uwu going for a second shot on goal. Bagel's going to beat them to that touch, as we do have Toke coming in to try and get a centering pass up for Gravity.
Now trying to corral their own ball. Landslides are going to try to make their next play. They're trying to set it up for Gravity, who was going to attempt to dribble. Is able to get just 1 tap and going to leave it for Toke to play it off the wall. Now he's just going to try to dunk it right in, but it actually, the angle just works right out.
We've got 7 seconds left on the clock, and there's only been 3 goals scored in this game. 2 for the landslides, 1 for the Gators. The Gators can definitely find a second one here, and with the rate at which we've seen them scored in this round, possibly take us into our first overtime, and we could start seeing the signs of exhaustion coming out from the landslides at that moment.
Gators getting the better of that kickoff, one of the few that they've kind of won here, but it's going to be answered back by the Landslides very quickly. And they're going to have one of their members demoed, Rainey. A great chip shot, though, from Fiery is going to be enough to buy the Gators some time to respond here. Just a little over a minute left as Gravity tries to make a play. He's going to play it around 2 and into the goal. That's kind of an answer to Bagel's great solo play earlier this game.
Anything you can do, I can do as well, is definitely what Gravity is saying. 2 goals can be scored in a minute and 14 seconds, but as Jem has mentioned, we need to see that kickoff control happen to be in the favor of the Gators here if they're looking to start closing this gap yet again for themselves. It's not a key that we've talked about very often, but winning kickoffs is something that is a key thing to winning out the Rocket League games here, and it comes down to getting in the head of the other team to ensure the kickoff goes in your favor.
And that was a great cheat attempt there by the Landslides, but it was all left up to a 50-50 that they just didn't win there. Now 2 members of the Gators are actually going to go flying past, so double commit there is not necessarily what you want to see when you're this far behind with less than a minute left.
We did see a demolition from Bagel come out on Gravity, though, so that double commit did kind of end up being an equalizing opportunity with that demo. Gravity, though, already going for another shot on goal. Bagel will elevate, played around Toke, has to play it around Gravity, and Toke comes racing back in to get a shot on goal, tries to stop the ball right at the corner with Fiery doing a back pass to Rainey. Gravity has possession in the corner. Fiery's going to come in and steal it away from them, but there was a slight double commit between Rainey and Fiery there. Bagel with possession in the corner has an opportunity to center it up for someone, but there is a lot of pressure being put on them by Gravity.
Now Rainey looking to set it up with just 10 seconds left, but no one's in position to follow it up. And I think that's kind of the last opportunity to really stage a comeback is going to be gone for the Gators. As timer ticks down and Landslides, now undefeated in this series, are going to be going to their match point.
Definitely almost 50 across the board between boost used and total shots on goal for both sides. Side control was slightly more in favor of the Landslides this round, but still pretty equal across the board. We could start seeing a turnaround of possible reverse sweep happening for the Gators, but this next game definitely is going to be the nail in the coffin if they cannot get these goals in their favor or these kickoffs.
The interesting thing is we've seen a few demos scattered here and there, but if you're wondering to try to, a good way to stop a demo is to take that top player out of the mix. And I would think Gravity Flare would really be the one with the biggest target on their backs. They've made some great solo plays, have definitely been the one who has kind of the most goals for the Landslide. So maybe the Gators might want to be doing a bit more disruption if he's a key part of the Landslide strategy.
If you've been here for quite some time watching the Esports Tower Rumble, when I used to be the color caster, so I was in Gem's spot, I used to keep track of those demolitions, and the teams that had the most demos actually came out on top more frequently than not. It's an old theme that might see a comeback here, as putting that X on the player's back of who's doing the most work can be a winning strategy for your side. You just got to make sure you aren't putting yourself out of position in doing those demolitions.
But look at all of this. This was started off by initial play by Gravity Flare and a bunch of follow-ups, and now he's going to try to stop the clear from going past. It's going to make it back toward midfield. Tokei's going to look to intercept that. A little bit of a chip up and through the corner. Now Fiery's going to try to pinch it off the wall, try to set something up, but the other members of the Gators are a little bit far back on the field. That gives the Landslides enough time to clear it back toward midfield. They're looking for their counterattack play right here.
We've got Bagel playing it around 1, but can't play it around Gravity, who's going to take a shot on goal, but it's not even going to get close to that goal box, so it will not count, as Rainey got a great volley right back towards the Landslide's goal. Shot on goal going to hit the crossbar. There's not going to be a fast enough follow-up for the Gators for them to take a secondary shot. Toke and Gravity are going to slow down just enough, but there's a shot on goal from Bagel. Bagel, I need to see the replay. That was a turtle on top of that. What? How did you do that?
I just think so. Just turn turtle there and chip it in.
I do not know how the geometry worked in your favor on that one. I'm not questioning it. It's just my brain can't wrap around it as we see Gravity get the better touch on that kickoff. Fiery, though, read it well, was waiting in the corner. Toki will elevate, but not high enough. Bagel got the better touch. It's now high in the midfield. Fiery has a shot on goal. It's going to be off the back wall. The follow-up shot from Rainey. Gators up by 2 right now. We've not been able to see that thus far for them this evening. That's what we love to see. They're showing a lot more control and speed in their favor in comparison to the Landslides, who might be showing their first signs of exhaustion finally, but it's only been a minute and 20 seconds, so things could turn around quite fast if the Gators start breaking down too soon.
Especially if they play off this kickoff well, but Bagel is going to win that 50-50 there and open up another play Gravity's going to look to try to play it around one, but is going to have his shot deflected there by the Gators, who have been really much better in getting their side control this game. Now, we really haven't seen a lead above 2 goals so far this series. And the Landslides have, last time that they were down in goals, have scored a goal really quickly. But that doesn't seem to be the case now, and a good omen for the Gators that they are really finding a way to upset the Landslides' march here.
They got to be careful not overextend, though, as that goal was a little bit open. Bagel did stop the ball at the midfield. Now, 2 have rotated back. The overcompensation does tend to happen quite a bit with either team here. Bagel waiting back towards that goal, making sure it's not wide open, with Fiery grabbing that boost, ensuring Toki can't get a lot of resources for the shot on goal as Gravity tries to drop the ball to Uwu in the corner. It's going to go off that back wall. Toki is in position to get a follow-up, but Bagel's got to take out Uwu in the process, allowing Fiery to get a clear that will be stopped right at the mid with a return from Rainey that's going to be missed out on, but Bagel is there to help them out.
Now way back towards center field. Landslides really have just kind of drained of a lot of their opportunities. They've only managed to get 2 shots on goal in the first half of this 4th game. But a demo onto Rainey might open some things up, and indeed it does. Gravity, star player, finding their first goal.
2 minutes and 20 seconds. The Landslides have a lot of time left on this clock to turn this around in their favor. The Gators need to maintain this lead. They got to either start scoring extra goals or playing keep away from the Landslides, both of which are very difficult tasks.
Now, if I was on the Landslides, I might be trying to strategize some sort of good play off this initial kickoff to equalize it right off the bat, but Bagel would be kind of a little bit of stopping that strategy. So he gets a great clear, but Gravity Flare looking to make the play again, gets another shot on goal. He's gotten 2 in less than a minute. He's definitely trying to make things better for his team.
Toki has 2 on them, and in the process
demo.
to take out Bagel, and Uwu will come in, finding that equalizer with 2 minutes left on the clock.
Yeah, that's just picture perfect what we were talking about, of taking the key players out of the game. Both Fiery and Bagel are actually trying to commit on that, a double commit there, and they weren't able to defend that goal. So great use of Doc's keys from the Landslides.
It's time to start olaying those demos if you're the Gators. Definitely a skill that's important to know and anticipate.
Oh.
But Gravity doesn't have any pressure on them. Gets an easy shot on goal, up by 1 right now. We have 101 seconds left in the 111 seconds left in this round. Gators have time to score another goal, but they need to not let another one roll in for the Landslides.
Actually, a bit more time than that, Nerdy. It's 100.
I'm doing quick math and it didn't work out.
Oh, you're doing quick. Okay, yeah, I get it. Actually, no, I get it. I was reading 151. And okay, yeah, you were doing the 6. See, that's why time not being metric can be a little bit hard to work out. You know, 1 minute is 60 seconds, even though it appears like 100 when you're looking at the clock. But enough of that tangent. There still is plenty of time, no matter how much, no matter what math you use for the Gators to stage a comeback here. But they have got to get some side control first, since the Landslides have been staging quite an onslaught against them as Gravity Flare picks up yet another shot on goal. The other 2 teammates, not to be counted out either, have been making great plays like this shot from Uwu that's going to score.
Landslides right now are at match point. If they win this one, they walk away with our Breakout Cup victory for themselves. So the Gators are looking to start their comeback right now. This is a long series of best of 7 if it does extend that far, but the Gators have to start the turnaround right now. They have to get 2 goals, 1:15 left to do that. They have time. They just need to set these opportunities up for themselves and have faith in one another and trust their rotations. As Bagel grabs that teardrop down right in front of them, Toki will try to keep the possession alive for the Landslides in the corner. It does look like Rainey will get a great clear into an open goal. Is it going to go in? Yes, it will. 1 score differential right now. Landslides have an opportunity to stay alive, but the Gators are looking to close this gap, and they've got enough time to do that.
And I think mainly that's the way that you kind of blow a lead this late in the game, is if you start making mistakes in positioning your team yourself. You know, if you leave your goal open too much, then leads like that can quickly be made up for. Stoke is going to find themselves demoed. Now respawns way back on field. Does pick up some boost to get back in position. Is going to start by getting a great shot on goal, just a little bit off the post there. Gravity's going to try to play it around. One member of the Gators goes flying past them. That only leaves 1 left in the goal, and they score.
And there's Gravity's hat trick yet again. They have scored quite a few goals throughout the entire course of the series thus far. 35 seconds is enough time for 2 goals. We've seen 3 and 4 goals scored within a 90-second period. Kickoff goal, though, is going to be really what the Gators need here in order to start turning this around in their favor. As Toki is the one to win out that goal to kick off. Bagel will do a backpedal in order to get it away from the goal. 30 seconds left on the clock. The possession and side control need to change. It needs to get across that midfield stripe. That's what the Gators are looking to do right now, but Gravity's going to take a shot on goal. This Toki gets taken out by Fiery Minstrel. The clear needs to come out. We've got 15 seconds left on the clock. The Gators are hoping to start turning this game around and bring us into a game 4. Well, game 5, but this might be the end of their run here for our Breakout Cup as we have 3 seconds left on the clock.
And now there is definitely no time for the Gators to try to even this up. It was a great rally for them early on, but the Landslides found a way to rally back. Just look at the differential at the end of the day in terms of shots on goal.
Gravity Flare almost has them going off of our little scoreboard and colliding with Toke's badges there. Unfortunately, it looks like everything was more in favor of the Landslides for this one. However, it's going to create a lot of VOD review opportunity and a lot of strategizing for the Gators here in the future. This is, of course, only week 2 of our Rumble, so there's plenty of time left for them to start turning things around and just improving from this point onwards, as they've done since the fall season.
Yeah, great job by the Landslides. It looked like it might have been shaky for them in Game 4, but they were managed to win this one pretty fast, and they're going to have this cup win under their belt, being going forward with some great opportunities. Still VOD reviews for both teams because there were moments when both teams were kind of on the back foot, so great moments to review for everyone here, and congrats to the Landslides.
At the end of the day, Jem, I'm sure you're aware, we talked about it a little bit. Going at it alone can only get you so far. Those solo plays can get you a goal here and there. But if you really want to level up your chances of success, you need to level up your teaming skills. And we definitely just saw that coming out from Gravity Flare. They had fantastic solo play and team play. But we also saw Fiery Minstrel and Bagel do it as well together for the Esports Tower. Esports Tower really takes the time to create teams of well-matched teammates. And I'd like to give a shout out to Coach Jake. And if you're watching and haven't checked out the Esports Tower Club, you should. It's the fast track to help you rank up. And once again, congratulations to the Landslides and winning the Breakout Cup. After this break, we'll be having some bonus coverage of the Dominus Cup between the ECSS Thunderbirds and the Mammoths, so don't go anywhere. These are best of 7s, though, so I highly advise you grab some water and use the restroom and grab some snacks, hopefully something healthy, not chips like I always do, and we'll be back here in just a moment.
Visit NationalGuard.com to begin your Guard adventure.
Here are a couple lessons I've learned over the years. Friendships come in all shapes and sizes. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
to this broadcast of the Esports Tower Rumble. We're broadcasting it from the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. Our first cup game is in the books. Now we're going to jump into our Breakout Cup. We'll start, my apologies, jump into our Dominus Cup as it's underway between the ECSS Thunderbirds and the Mammoths. ECSS Thunderbirds are a team we've seen a little bit of. The Mammoths have been a team that have definitely been climbing their way through the ranks lately. What are your thoughts before we jump into this next game, Jem?
The Mammoths are considered one of the top tier teams, kind of along with the Eagles and Barracudas. They were taking, but with the Barracudas taking a little bit of the break, it's kind of left this feud between the Mammoths and the Eagles. But they aren't going to be facing up in the Cup stage today. Instead, each of them is going to have their own matchup. So both these teams with something to prove. I would definitely want to see the Mammoths make some great plays to try to kind of elevate their team name, if you will.
I definitely agree with you. However, all of these players and all of these teams have already proved themselves quite a bit, and some of these players will be graduating quite soon, and we would like to take a moment to congratulate actually all of those Esports Tower Club members who've graduated from the clubs and have been offered scholarships across the country. Over the last 3 months, the Esports Tower club members have received over $1.6 million in scholarship awards. These students have not only worked hard in their gameplay, but have worked hard academically and have earned these scholarship opportunities. These players have received who have received these scholarships are talented, hardworking, and driven, and we could not be more excited and proud to see all the opportunities these players are getting. Congratulations to all of you. You've been doing a lot of hard work. It just gets a little bit harder. I'm sorry to say that. Please don't change your names, and if you do, just give us a little shout out so we're aware of who you are, and we can say we got the opportunity to watch that player when they started in high school going forward. Congratulations to all of you.
Yeah, we don't know. We could be seeing any of these plays, or could be seeing one of the next top-tier pros. So we definitely have a lot of talent, and we'll see where they can go in their collegiate career. It's
very exciting to know that these players are getting those opportunities, and the opportunities are only going to continue to grow. So be sure that if you're interested in esports, you check out Esports Tower and reach out to your local club organizations to get involved. And we are about to jump into our next game here of our Esports Tower Week 2 Winter Rumble. And before we do that, though, we do have some advice from the one and only Doc. And the teams that should be listening to these are the Mammoths and the Eagles. Those keys today are presented by Esports Tower, and in Rocket League, the keys are create mistakes, punish the overcommits, play walls better. That just seems like such an interesting way to phrase that, and demo to get in that goal. Doc's keys to the game today are brought to you by Esports Tower, where you can score pro advice and improve your game sense, improve your team play, improve your performance under pressure. You'll get matched with great players and professional coaches to help you rank up.
Now we're ready to head into this game. This one's actually going to be in progress. It is 2-2. So basically, we've kind of just reset this into a best of 3.
We have, but we've also kind of given teams equal levels of exhaustion. A best of 7 series is a very difficult situation to be in. So let's hope that both teams are coming out still kind of fresh-faced and well-hydrated and are not breaking down on those communication fronts as we jump into this next game. This is for the Dominus Cup. And we're about to see this next kickoff. We do hear them revving up them engines, though, as we see Not Earth. I think that's Lennon and Endercrafter, so a slight roster change over there for the Mammoths, but definitely still the solid members we've seen before in the past.
Kickoff going slightly in favor of, it looks like the Thunderbirds starting off very nicely with Sakone there.
We have Sadness, who over-rotated a little bit, but the ball was rolling in at a snail's pace, but Endercrafter will take Sadness out, opening up the field for a slight moment. Ball still on the side of the Thunderbirds. They haven't found a clear yet. Endercrafter and Not Earth are looking to set up a goal-scoring opportunity. Sadness spikes the ball off the ceiling. Not Earth will grab it with a follow-up from Lennox there. We'll get a shot on goal that's going to get turned away by Sakone.
Now a little bit of a shot, a little bit of a chip shot back toward Thunderbird's goal. Nonem is going to try to deflect it, but Lennox is a bit too fast and gets the first goal for the Mammoths.
Definitely a different pace of game than we've seen before, and we can see the little chit-chat happening there between Sadness, Not Earth, and Endercrafter. Gotta love that in-game instant chat ability because they are using a controller as opposed to a mouse. Congratulating one another on a fantastic shot as we go into the next kickoff. Endercrafter will win that one out, but this ball is rolling very slowly, allowing Sadness to get a touch on it. It does hit the ceiling, though. Not Earth grabs it right off the ground. Does have Ninam on them, so that Ninam will grab that ball, has an opportunity to clear it. They'll miss out on that boost, so it could just make this a little difficult for them. They'll play it around 1 and get demoed by Endercrafter. Sadness, though, is there to help their teammate out. They'll lose the ball to the ceiling because they've spiked it high a little too much a couple times now already. Not Earth grabs the ball here in the corner, but it's on their own side of the field.
Now a little bit of a tap there. It's going to be answered back by Lennox, trying to set up a play, but quick elevation up from the Thunderbirds, and a counterattack is going to get the side control back for them. Not Earth trying to fight back for this ball. It's going to go sliding past Nonem there. Endercrafter just waiting for the centering. He sees it, he reads it, but the crossbar just a little bit too in the way.
Sometimes you just got to go to relationship counseling with that crossbar. It happens to everyone. It doesn't like anybody. It's okay. We have Endercrafter get it clear off to the side of the field at the mid. Sadness will elevate, dropping the ball down. Not Earth will try to elevate and collide with them. They'll miss it, but Lennox here in the corner gets the ball, but Sakone gets to that passing lane to score the first goal for the side of the Thunderbirds.
Yeah, Sakone just reading it very well, seeing his Endercrafter. Not Earth was supposed to be on the back post there, but was just too late in that rotation.
As we jump into this next kickoff, we've got a little bit more than 3 minutes left on the clock. Tied one aside. Still, so basically back to 0-0, even as far as the game-winning victories go right now. Both teams looking to open up this field and get their rotations cool in the right spots, as Lennox will just mess up that rotation, though, for the Thunderbirds, taking out one of them. They've respawned now. Sadness elevating at the mid, will spike the ball. It won't hit the ceiling this time, allowing Ninum to come in and get a shot on goal that's just going to be a little bit too wide and too slow to capitalize on.
Goes a little bit of a shot from Not Earth, trying to push it past midfield. Sadness whiffing on that one, having to force Nonem to rotate back towards their own corner to stop a shot on goal from the Mammoths.
Nonem did a great job of just getting enough pressure on that ball to keep the Mammoths away from it. They've got it clear now. Sakone has a wide open goal opportunity. It will be disrupted by Lennox. Not Earth will take it forward right up the mid of the field, though, and will collide with one of the Thunderbirds players, stopping their shot on goal.
Sakone sees the wide open goal, shoots it right in the middle, and puts the Thunderbirds in the lead. Unfortunately, just a mispositioning there. Stitching yourself on front instead of back post is a bit more of a risky proposition when you're trying to defend.
The Mammoths have been working very hard in the past couple weeks on decision-making and focusing on why they're hitting the ball as opposed to just hitting it. However, that much focus on one thing can take your focus away from those rotations, and so they got to make sure their brain is working on all cylinders. As Sakone comes in to find their hat trick, that's their third goal, and all 3 goals thus far have been scored by them for the Thunderbirds.
Yeah, they've really been able to bring the heat and really come alive, so great job by them. It's now just 2 minutes left. And if they get a goal, maybe even off this kickoff here, I think that might be the final insurance goal they need. It seems both teams really want the ball as they trade demos there. And a double commit on the save, but it does buy them a little bit more time, so they don't want any goal to be scored anywhere. Nonem trying to make a play here, is going to leave it in the center as Not Earth tries to elevate up, just doesn't find the angle that he wanted. Sakone now taking control. Doesn't take the own boost away from the Mammoths, though. It looked like a very nice boost starving opportunity to me, but doesn't go for it quite yet as Lennox gets a shot on goal, and it's going to score.
Mammoths right now looking for one extra goal to even out the playing field, tying them up to 3 aside. However, Thunderbirds looking for that security goal so they could sit pretty and play keep away for a little bit and start increasing that lead. Minute and 24 seconds left on the clock is still anybody's game as we are borderline tied across the board with everything right now.
Lennox picking up the boost in the corner there. Going to try to center it up, make a play happen, but that's a great deflect onto an open goal from Sakone. No!
It happens. There's nothing you could have done there.
But it's just, well, there's one thing they could have done. They could have maybe positioned themselves just a little better because Not Earth was really on midfield there trying to stop a clear, but it just went right past them. There was no one left.
Yeah, the elevation just did not go high enough. It happens. It's still 2 goals is an easy gap to close in some cases. It's just the Mammoths have to start getting possession in their favor. Sakone has had this ball for quite a bit of time with very little pressure on them. Not Earth gets a clear into the corner where Nonem is waiting, though. Not Earth trying to battle out 3 players. Endercrafter comes in to help. It's right in front of the goal, but Nonem will grab it. It's going to elevate, play it around Lennox. Lennox will not be high enough, but Not Earth comes in at the last second to stop that goal from rolling in.
Not Earth trying to elevate up to get a tap on there, being met by Sadness in mid-air. Now Sakone looking to make the play here. Already has a hat trick. All things considered, that's a pretty good shot. A little bit to the right, though. Nonem tries to center it up. Not Earth trying to get a tap on it. Sadness just comes going right in, is going to try to make the play, but Endercrafter is just going to be able to get the tap before him and keep it in the corner.
We've got Nonum with a shot on goal. It's going to be turned away by Endercrafter. Now Ender has an opportunity to bring it up the side. They have to play it around Nonum though, and they do have Lennox in the midfield ready for a pass. Not will take out Sadness. Nonum goes for a shot on goal. It's going to hit that top corner, but a follow-up from Zacone, who has just been a dominating force this evening, finds another goal.
And unless you can score a goal, one goal for each second left, I don't really think that there's much of a chance here for the Mammoths. So all that this really is a formality, going to be driving the Thunderbirds to their match point.
Yes, we are at 0 time on the clock, and now this is kind of just for good spirits to end the round, but Ender might find a goal, and unfortunately he'll hit the ground and barely start crossing that line. And you can see that overall, the shots, boost used, and side control, well, shots and boost used were slightly, well, never mind. Shots on goal were definitely in favor of the Thunderbirds. Everything else pretty gosh darn equal, meaning this is a pretty good Rocket League happening right now.
Yeah, and definitely hinting it being tied 2-2 in the overall series beforehand really hints at that. And I think that's the main thing we got to keep in mind here is that from our perspective, we're only seeing the second game, but from there, they're on game 6 right now. So they're having to deal with that sort of attrition that happens when you have these sort of long series, these best of 7s. So the Thunderbirds really got to make sure that they don't kind of let the match point mentality get to them. They still have to play as if it's evens, play at their best, get this final win, and not choke in this position.
As Jem mentioned earlier, we are basically at a best of 3 stage right now. So Thunderbirds looking to get one more in to be able to come out on top, while the Mammoths are hoping to find 2 more in order to set themselves up to be in match point. Only time will tell as we jump into our next game here. It'll be game 5 of this series.
I mean, they just have to play good Rocket League. You can't necessarily let yourself coast on that match point mentality. We have seen reverse sweeps happen. We've seen them happen in series that are very long and best of 7s. So it is not out of the realm possibility for the Mammoths to really come alive here in Game 6. But they're not going to do it if they double commit right off the kickoff there.
That ball did kind of end up dead in the water, though, for a few seconds, so no one was a clear victor on that kickoff, at least in my opinion. But we've got Lennox here in the corner with no pressure on them. Not Earth has taken out Nonum. Lennox will bring the ball up. One will jump over them. They managed to play it around one, but not the other. Sakone was cherry-picking a little bit here on the side of the Mammoths. Has the ball in front of the goal, but that angle flat against the wall is very difficult to pull off. Their shot on goal attempt will be awarded, but no goal for them just yet.
Despite those 2 demos onto the Thunderbirds, they've managed to get some side control here. Sakone looks like they're going to stop that play right there. Try to drive it back up the field and set it up. Playing it off the wall, though, from Endercrafter. Know them with a great steal. Back toward the corner and elevating up to try to center it. Not going to find it there. Earth is not going to get there clear. Great shot by Lennox. Might give the Mammoths an opportunity now.
Lennox is waiting for this follow-up shot. They'll take out Sadness at the goal. This is a couple of seconds here for the Mammoths to score something. Nonum, though, will get the ball first and clear it off the side. Ender and Lennox will kind of be in the same... Never mind. Ender will get the clear there. Unfortunately, it's not going to be enough. The ball is still chilling out here in the corner on the side of the Thunderbirds. Sakone will miss out on their touch. Endercrafter will get a shot on goal. It's going to be turned away by Sadness, and Sadness now going for the clear.
A shot that's beautifully aimed there by Lennox, and I was thinking that they would have to get a save there because that was definitely going in, and it did. Just some of those bombs from midfield can work out. Nonum really wasn't quite expecting that, so wasn't able to get the save that they wanted. Now the Mammoths are in a slight lead, 3 minutes, 30 seconds left.
That's plenty of time for the Thunderbirds to find 1 goal or more, but also Mammoths have the opportunity to find more themselves. Honestly, I'm going to say that Jem's advice earlier of putting a target on the back of one of the key players for a team is what they need to do here. As Endercrafter takes out Sadness in the goal, but they did not take out Nonum as well, and the respawns have happened, so full force back for the Thunderbirds as they get it clear, but it's going to be stopped in the midfield by Not Earth. But the shot will be high. There's a follow-up opportunity from Lennox and Not Earth, but it'll be turned away by Sadness.
There goes Sakone, shot clear toward goal. Not Earth just barely managing to save that one. Almost slipped past them. Now they want to keep this play going. Sakone with some great air dribbling. Looks like he's going to hand it off to Nonum, who was a bit far back on the field and kind of whiffed on that shot, allowing Lennox to almost get a shot on goal. Not Earth with the follow-up, and a clutch save by Sadness, keeping the Thunderbirds in the running.
We've got Nonum taking the ball off that corner, sending it to the mid where Lennox will stop it. However, most of the Mammoths have rotated back. Not Earth forced to come forward. Shoots the ball, goes right back against the cone, but it's right in front of the goal. Drop down, will spike off someone's hood. Endercrafter goes for the follow-up. It's a little too wide, and there's not another attempt coming out for the Mammoths just yet, as the ball's going to come off the ceiling and into the corner here on the side of the Thunderbirds.
Sadness trying to make a play, and it's an open goal, and it's just aimed.
The overcommit.
Just barely. That's the thing. If it's 1 pixel higher, it's not going to be a goal.
Oh, I mean, beautiful, but on the same notion, that was unfortunate. And Sakone, I hope you don't take this statement personally. This is me just giving strategic advice. Mammoth, Sakone needs to be demoed a lot more than what you're giving him right now. They have spent way too much time alive on this field, and it's a strategy. I promise you, just take them out. 3 seconds at a time. You do it twice. 6 seconds is quite a bit.
Well, the Mammoths are still trying to make a play happen, whether Sakone's on the field or not. Nonam's going to try to set it up. Not Earth goes rotating back, but another tap there from Nonam trying to set it up. Sadness actually was trying to set that up. Gets a nice shot on goal, but it just bounces off the post.
Oh!
Now, did they rotate up too far? No, they didn't. It just looked a little scary there. The Thunderbirds still managing to stage a good defense here. Now it's Sakone's play over toward the goal, just a little bit off to the right, but follow-up from Sakone. And that's exactly why you were saying take Sakone out.
It's a compliment, Sakone, I promise you. Me telling them they need to focus you and do nothing but demo you is 100% a compliment. It just means you're doing too much and you're doing too good.
Well, I know in the Thunderbirds' mind, it's not him doing too good. It's him being just as good as he needs to be in another shot, but that one's going to be far to the right there. Zenna's going to try to keep it going, just kind of runs right into Endercrafter there. Now here goes Nonam. A beautiful shot is deflected by Ender at the very last moment. That's going to be one of those clutch saves that keeps the Mammoths in the running here. Sakone elevating up, wins that 50-50 off the crossbar. Is there a follow-up? Looks like it is, but it's kind of late though. But Sadness still almost finding a way, but not Earth once again. The Mammoths are having some really scary saves. Did the Thunderbirds rotate up too far? They did.
Okay, all right, I get it. Heart palpitations. I'm old, okay, guys? I can't handle this much stress.
Niff.
They took out one of the Mammoths in the corner. That kind of felt like it was just a fine. You got the goal, but I'm going to take you out anyway moments as we go into the next kickoff. The 50-50 went slightly more in favor of the Thunderbirds. Sakone elevates, gets a shot, but it's far too wide for it to even be counted as Nonam takes out Not Earth. We've hit that 30-second mark. It's tied to his side. Are we going to see an overtime, or are we going to see a goal happen here soon for one of these teams?
I mean, it would really bite if there was an overtime and possibly a loss for the Thunderbirds for just getting way too aggressive and rotating far too up the field. But it looks like they're going to go back into the lead with just 11 seconds left.
I'm hoping for a buzzer beater to see the Mammoths score another goal and take us into overtime. That's always very exciting, but very exhausting. Don't worry. To anyone that just heard that statement, it's just as exhausting for the casters. Our poor voices will suffer quite a bit going into overtime. So we'll see how these next seconds play out. The kickoff goes in favor of the Mammoths, but the follow-up did not. Ball's going to get spiked high. We've got 5 seconds left on the clock. This ball touches the ground, and that is the end of the Cinderella story for the Mammoths. And it will end out with the Thunderbirds coming out with that victory.
Oh, and what a close game, too. I mean, for the first half of that game, I think before the first goal was scored by Sakone, the Thunderbirds only really had 2 shots on goal for the first half of this game. So it was really that second half that really was the difference, allowed them to rally and get the win here.
Congratulations to the ECSS Thunderbirds. You guys are our winner for this Cup game. It was very exciting, and those stats definitely looked beautiful. I mean, almost perfect 50s down the board. The badges were pretty gosh darn equal. That is some good Rocket League, and I hope to see more of that as we progress through this evening. Well, if you want the opportunity to be seen by some expert college recruiters, talk directly to esports industry insiders like pro athletes, team general managers, and game producers, then you need to join the club. Esports Tower players get insider access to industry insights with our featured rumbles. Recruiters are taking notice of these events as well. It's a great way to score exposure if you're looking to start your path to pro or land a collegiate scholarship. Once again, congratulations to the ECSS Thunderbirds on winning the Dominus Cup. After this break, we'll come back with the Fennec Cup between the Hammerheads and the Vipers, so don't go anywhere unless it's just to run to the bathroom or grab a snack. Hopefully you get hydrated, and we'll be back here in a little bit.
Visit NationalGuard.com to begin your guard adventure.
Here are a couple lessons I've learned over the years. Friendships come in all shapes and sizes. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
Welcome back to this broadcast, the Esports Tower Rumble. We're broadcasting it from the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. We are now halfway through our Cup games for Week 2 and getting ready to kick off our Fennec Cup between the Hammerheads and the Vipers. Nerdy Bird and Jem calling all the action for you tonight. And Jem, you've had quite the advice this evening for all of these teams, and we're about to go into the next game between the Hammerheads and the Vipers. What advice do you have for those teams that we're about to see?
Well, you can really never count anything as a done deal, especially in these best of sevens. I would say, we sometimes see teams once they kind of get one goal playing away, that like we're ahead and we don't need to play the same way we have. But really kind of a rule of thumb, unless you're like 3 goals ahead, I wouldn't take on too passive an attitude. You still have to play good Rocket League, but you also can't be in the position where you're going too aggressive at it, because we saw, especially for the Thunderbirds, there was a time when it looked like, oh, they might have thrown away this match just because they rotated up too far on field. So
make sure you stick to your kind of route-based gameplay rules. Play well, play clean, and make sure that you're always playing to the best of your ability. Are Gems keys to the game, but of course we do always have Doc's keys to the game for Rocket League tonight, and we definitely hope that these teams are listening to them before they go into this best of 7 series, because they are very important to everyone. And Doc's keys to the game today are going to be presented by Esports Tower, and those keys are create mistakes, punish the overcommit, play the walls better, and demo to get into the goal. Doc's keys to the game from Esports Tower, where you can score pro advice, improve your game sense, improve your team play, and improve your performance under pressure. You'll get matched with great players and professional coaches to help you rank up. All right, so we're about to jump into our best of 7 of the Fennec Cup between the Hammerheads and the Vipers, both Esports Tower teams, so kind of in-house rivalry happening between these two. It's going to be very excited. Both of these teams have impressive performances in the group stage, and a win tonight would build some serious momentum as they head into the next week's Rumble. After all, this is only our 2nd Rumble of the winter season, so there's more to come and more improvement to be made.
All right, here we go. It's going to start off with a pretty even kickoff as Hawker's going to try to elevate up, just make a play by himself. It's just a bit too far off to the right, but what an opening.
Zydra and Greed had both rotated quite a bit deep into that side of the field as well. It does not look like it'll be to their disadvantage, though. They've both rotated back towards the goal, and it's already being returned onto the Hammerhead side of the field as Hawker is better, gets a nice elevation, but Jamison will stop it, sending it into the corner, forcing Zydra to grab it off the wall, where Cran will put a stop to it, but it's going to be volleyed over their head by Hawker is better, who's going to play it off the back wall, but Jamison will get in there and disrupt just enough to make them lose their ball, lose their possession.
Greed trying to make a play happen. Hawker is going to try to set it up for Greed, who just kind of goes flying by, but actually, no. He got it. It was just a bit of pinball there. I wasn't quite sure. I'm going to need to see this again. Look at that flip in midair to barely get the tap on it.
Spiked straight down, nose to the ground, works out in your favor somehow. Congratulations. It was a very fast goal, a little bit over 45 seconds into the round. Still plenty of time for either team to come out on top, as we now have the ball in the corner. Hawker's Betters trying to get possession for their side and get it clear, but they're all kind of bunched up right now, so they need to start spreading out the Vipers in order to get this field possession, and it does look like Greed will be taken out by Racer.
And there goes a shot on goal there. It's just going to be a little bit far, but the follow-up from Greed is kind of insane in his accuracy from way back in midfield as well. Yeah, that's just beautifully aimed there. They were all kind of rotating up, already kind of anticipating to move up the field, and Greed just surprised them with the shot back toward the goal.
Going into this next kickoff, looks like Cran will beat anyone else to that ball. That was very fast. They've got it here in the corner. They're going to need to center it up for somebody. Jamison will come in to help them out, but that angle's not going to be right. Hawker's Better now elevates, bringing it down in front of the goal. Cran already rotated back. Insanely fast there for them, and manages to stop it from going in. Racer with possession here in the corner, brings it across the midfield, but Hawker's Better grabs it right away, sending it to the corner where Jamison's waiting, so they got to battle it out for possession, and Jamison will be the victor of that one. And it does look like Greed will come in to help out just a tiny bit.
Elevating up, there goes Greed, trying to set it up for Hawker, who has a great shot toward the goal just off the right post. Follow-up is going to go to the right again, but they're definitely trying as a demo onto Racer there. Looked like they were trying to open it up. It's going to head down just off the left post now. Now we have about 3 minutes left. Vipers still maintaining their 2-0 lead.
The Vipers have been focusing quite a bit on spacing and finding outlets to pass to teammates, and it's playing out in spades right now. Their spacing has been fantastic for this first half of this first game. And Hawker's Better will take out Cran in the process there, opening up the field just a bit more for them. This shot on goal happens. Racer will save that shot from Greed, but they're bunching up right now. Vipers need to spread out, and as I'm saying, that doesn't matter. Greed finds another goal for the Vipers.
It's a really nice goal. He's going to find his hat trick there. Jamison, that backflip just didn't quite work out, and so Greed was open to score.
And that next kickoff, again, won by Cran, but Greed read it well, got it off that wall, gets a shot on goal, almost perfect, but Jamazon saved it. Follow-up shot from Hawker will be saved by Racers. Cran gets taken out by Hawker's better in the goal. Cran's respawned, but Zydra's trying to get a shot in. Just that angle, a little pressure from Racer will stop that from happening.
Now Z Hydra trying to line it up. It just goes a little bit off the backboard there. Another follow-up, and that is some acrobatics and great teamwork.
See, it goes off that back wall, follow touch from Zydra, and then Hawker's better comes in to find that finishing shot. Beautifully done, great rotations from the Vipers. The Hammerheads need to start turning this around. They've got 2 minutes to start closing this 4-goal gap. It's plenty of time, but something needs to change because the ball and side possession are largely in favor of the Vipers right now.
Here goes Racer. Ooh, a shot by Z Hydra. Off just toward the left, not gonna find it. A little bit of a tap over to the left. Trying to elevate up. Just gets a little bit of a tap on that, but not enough for their own clear, and that could leave them open to a goal here, but Greed sees the opening that was left for the Hammerheads, plays it off their own wall to divert it into the corner. Unfortunately, double commit. 2 members go flying past the ball there. The Vipers are still going to get away with it, though, and force the Hammerheads to defend, get their own clear that's very well aimed, and a nice read of that to deflect it off.
Cran's been making a lot of great clears and goal-scoring opportunities for the side of the Hammerheads. They just need to find that missing link to close it out, but Greed doesn't need any sort of assistance as they've scored another goal for the Vipers. Now up by 5, 3 minutes and 13 seconds left. This first round of the best of 7 might be in the books for the Vipers. However, they still have to win out 3 more games after that, and that's more time for the Hammerheads to just analyze and come back swinging. So we do see that kickoff go in favor of the Hammerheads. Jamazon won that one out. Now Racers trying to get possession away from Greed. Greed will clear the ball, though, as Cran's racing back towards the corner. Hawker comes in to try and use them as a means to center it up. They get it centered, but Zydra, unfortunately, will just barely miss that ball.
A little bit of a tap, going to be going over. Greed living up to his name. He can never have enough goals. He just wants more, more, more. That's an insane angle there. Look at that.
The badges right now for Greed and Hawker are currently off our screen. That's not something you see all the time, but that does mean the Hammerheads need to start doing something about those two, get in those passing lanes, or you don't have to demo them, just be against their car and make it harder for them to keep possession of that ball. Racer tried to do it just right there, but unfortunately was not enough, and Greed gets a shot on goal where Hawker was also cherry-picking to be the follow-up, and that's a... Had that not gone in, Hawker would have been there for the rebound, so that's a hard one to stop, but that was a slight overcommit there from the Hammerheads, something they'll have to rectify in the next round.
Now here we go with yet another play, now 7-0. Vipers could not be more in control of this match here.
Cran is currently doing a fantastic job of winning those kickoffs. They're a very talented player for the Hammerheads. They just need to start working more in favor of allowing those plays from Cran to happen and letting them be more of a force on the field rather than having to rotate back and be the goalkeeper. That comes down to communication and having faith in one another at the end of the day, as we have Jamazon slightly over-elevate there, but Cran comes in to spike the ball into the corner. They now have to play it off the back wall. They have both their teammates on the ground. Hopefully one of them can be there for the follow-up. They will not, and Cran has to race back towards the mid. Jamazon's finally going to get a touch on it. Greed, though, has the ball again, gets taken out by Jamazon. That's what I like to see. But the end of the first round will go in favor of the Vipers.
And Athena's competition, what competition there? All on the side of the Vipers in shots on goal.
Next game will probably tell a very different story between these two teams. I mentioned it earlier. Typically, the first game is not telling of how the remainder of the matches turn out, as one team becomes very analytical and takes this 1-minute break as an opportunity to, well, get yelled at by their coach and talk to one another and improve and figure out what they need to fix. Hopefully, in this next round, we'll see Cran get facilitated quite a bit more for the Hammerheads. And once again, I mean no offense when I say this, but Hawker, Greed, you two, I hope you have X's on your back and spend most of your time on that respawn screen.
Well, the coaches have been they've really been telling us, hey, Crayon and Jamazon, just look out for them. You know, they see a lot of skill in them. They've really been talking them up. So, yeah, sometimes just when it's an initial blowout, sometimes, you know, probably halfway through that game, already already the Hammerheads had probably just kind of resigned that game and are working to just improve and really have a great performance in the second game. So the second game, I think, will really be the key test to see the matchup that we have.
Also, if the first game's a runaway like that, it's a great chance for the team that is in the disadvantaged position to use it as an opportunity to conserve their energy and mental power going into the next one, because these games are so taxing. Again, Cran winning that kickoff in due fashion. They just need the follow-up from someone. Hawker gets a shot. It's going to go wide. Racer will get a nice touch to send it to one side. Cran taking out Hawker is better. That's what I like to see. We'll give an opportunity for the Hammerheads to start turning this one around. Cran has it, but has to play it around all three members. Spikes it over one, but can't get it around Hawker.
Now trying to set it up. Greed doing a little bit of air dribbling right toward the goal. It's so well aimed that it is going to actually be credited as a shot on goal. So Greed definitely being the star player. If you want to use some demos, then he'd be a great place to start. Z Hydra, though, oh, unfortunately, it looked like Greed actually got in the way there. Z Hydra is ready for another shot on goal. Look at the double commit from both teams.
And Hawker will use that to their advantage. 4 people in the air, leaves 2 on the ground, and one of them was their own teammate. So they had the opportunity to they capitalized on that in due fashion. Hawker has apparently been a great in-game leader and a role model for the kids on their team. And I did say kids, but that's not my own phrasing. Hawker, you are doing a fantastic job. I am very sorry if you spend a lot of time in the future Rumbles on the respawn screen.
The coaches have really also tried to reinforce, when you see so many great solo plays that have been in these Rumbles, you can think that sometimes a prospective player watching this thinks that they need to do all of that, but the coaches have actually been trying to reinforce the teams with the idea that sometimes doing less is more when it comes to being involved in plays.
It's important to remember there are 2 other people on this field, and if you're doing everything, it can also mean you're doing nothing at the same time, because other teammates need to have the ability to also make plays happen. As we have Hawker take out one of the Hammerheads, but that respawn has happened. Hawker comes in here on the corner. It's still on the Viper side of the field. Vipers have possession. Racer's trying to change that, though. They're centering it up. They have an opportunity. Cran gets a shot on goal, and it does go in, going over 2 of the heads of the Vipers. That is beautiful. That is what we like to see.
That's a great play there by Racer, just kind of being in communication with Crayon there to lob it up and over, and then it just kind of trickles down into the goal.
Let's see if this kickoff is won by the Hammerheads or the Vipers. Right now, kickoffs have been going strongly in favor of the Hammerheads. The Vipers get a better touch on that one. The last touch was from the Hammerheads, though. Zydra gets a shot on the back wall. Cran will grab it. It's going to be sat right down in front of Greed, though, who takes another shot. Zydra takes another shot on the goal as well. Off the back wall, Cran will corral it down. Greed comes in, has to beat out Jamazon. Jamazon now has Hawker, who's going to center it up for Greed, but the Vipers have already rotated back with Cran with possession at the mid.
Ooh, setting it up. You see the play unfolding right there, and almost Greed scoring another one. Trying to flick it in at the very last moment there.
Already a lot more equal than our first game. You can see badges and saves across the board are very balanced. Greed shot on goal, the crossbar, but Zydra and Hawker is better. Will double team to find that second goal. 2 minutes and 32 seconds left on the clock, so basically half of game 2 has already elapsed. Vipers are up by 1, telling a very different story than we saw at the beginning of this, showing the Hammerheads have definitely taken that short break to change things up and do something different, and it's working in their favor. They just need to find that last missing piece of the puzzle to come out on top of this game.
Greed trying to make another goal happen right there, almost. Follow up by Z Hydra. Now Hawker's going to try to get a shot on goal, but Crayon stops that. Now just a little bit of a tap there by the Hammerheads, but not enough for them to get the clear. So now they have to play defense, and he's trying to bump and demo Crayon out of the way, and it worked.
That was a 2-on-1, poor Cran. Unfortunately, you blocked one, but you cannot block this follow-up attempt. As you've rotated out, and Zydra took advantage of that, finding goal number 3. There's still time for the Hammerheads to bring this one back. Hopefully, Cran can win this kickoff again for their team, and there will be follow-up from someone on their side. They'll collide with Zydra. Racer will be the follow-up. Greed, though, gets in that passing lane, trying to steal it. Jamazon's there to help out. Greed will take out Cran, though, in return for that kickoff going in Cran's favor.
Now Z Hydra trying to make a play happen. Is they going to be able to get a very nice clear? All Racer can do is knock it over toward the corner where Z Hydra was already headed. Greed, though, demoed, and that kind of stops the whole play. This is exactly what we were talking about, you know, kind of take the offensive player out of it, and look what happens.
I know it seems mean, and I know that if you are on Twitter and you follow Rocket League, that a lot of people are like playing Demolition Derby in Rocket League is one of the dumbest things, but it's a strat. It works. It gives you a huge advantage for a few moments, and that is what you need, and that definitely worked out there for the Hammerheads. 96 seconds left on the clock. They have time to get another goal to win out this round or bring us into overtime if they can only manage one. Cran gets a shot on goal, and Cran will find the equalizer for us, getting their hat trick. Nicely done, Cran.
All of a sudden, it's a very different story that's being told. In just 30 seconds, completely turned it around.
Now, are we going to see a buzzer beater from one side? Honestly, if we do see one, it's going to be amazing for either team. I'm really hoping, though, we can get that from the Hammerheads so we can see an equal game going into Game 3. So we now have Hawkers better playing it off the wall to center it up for themselves. Zydra also elevated. That could be an unfortunate double commit, and it might be. The goal is wide open as Hawker takes out Racer. They rotated back and took out one, so that opens up the opportunity for the volley to return from Greed. It's in the corner now on the side of the Hammerheads.
The ball's just way too up high there unless they can waterfall it down, but we're unable to. Now Crayon with kind of a double tap there is going to push it back towards Viper's territory. Hawker elevating up is going to be able to beat Racer in that 50-50.
Cran putting pressure on Greed here in the corner over Z Hydra, and Hawker were waiting though behind to help out their teammate. Now the ball is on the side of the Vipers. It's right in front of the goal. Greed saves it at the last second.
30 seconds left. Z Hydra now needs to make a play, is going to be running right into Crayon there. And Crayon is demoed, but the other two players were positioned right in front of the goal. Greed has to get a nice shot there. Was really unable to, just driving it toward the corner. Follow-up no shot off the backboard, looking to push it down off the crossbar, and there they finally find it.
All right, so Hammerheads, you know that Cran does a fantastic job on these kickoffs. If Jamazon can help Cran out a little bit, or if Racer can be in position to help Cran, we could see a kickoff goal. We haven't seen a lot of those here in Esports Tower Rumble. I love them to pieces, but Greed will win out that kickoff with 8 seconds left on the clock. This ball basically cannot touch the ground for Cran. They want to see an opportunity for this to go into overtime. The ball's right in front of the goal. They just need someone to come in, and they do. Yes, Racer! And we're going into our first overtime of the night with that buzzer beater goal coming out from the Hammerheads, bringing us tied 4-aside.
That's an insane performance by the Hammerheads. This very, you know, you look at the shots on goal and it's clear that the Vipers have quite a victory here in terms of just raw stats, but the Hammerheads have found a way to match them. The shots that they have had, even though they're less, they have been able to get past the Vipers' defense more often.
Racer unfortunately couldn't get around Greed there, and Hawker's better will get a great centering shot, but Cran read it. Takes it off the ground, elevates, but Zydra will find it, spiking it back down over them. Racer trying to put pressure on Zydra. Jamazon will get the clear, rotating forward. Greed's rotated back towards their own goal. Jamazon needs to find a centering pass, but Greed will get in there before they can find that opportunity. Greed now bringing it up the side, looking for someone to center it up to. Takes a shot on goal. Cran will decide to push Zydra out of the way, allowing Racer to get a great clear back over to Cran in the corner, who might fail to find a centering opportunity, but the Vipers have all rotated back and put the pressure on Cran.
That's a great shot by Z Hydra, though. Going to give the Vipers some chance to fill up on boost, which they all were kind of very low there. Greed still starved a little for boost.
They're not being greedy enough.
I mean, if he's the top player, then keeping the resources away from him so he can't make those plays is a decent strategy. If you can't demo him, then at least make sure he has no boost.
We do have Greed going for an elevation shot on goal, where Zydra tried to help out as well, who overrode that ball slightly. Now Cran has played around Greed and Zydra. Zydra will push the ball out of Cran's possession. It's now on the wall. Cran still going after it, finding the centering opportunity for somebody, but Greed waiting on the ground, pops it high for Hawker. Is better to play it around Racer as well. Cran sending the volley back. It's going towards the goal, and it'll be saved by Zydra in mid-flight.
Jamazon toward the shot on goal there, saved by Hawker. It's going to head back to Racer midfield. Greed with a rather forceful play to steal it away from him and push it over to where Z Hydra is. A miss there leaves it up to the other two Hammerheads. Seems like the Vipers are just taking a little bit of time there to make sure they were full on boost, trying to make the play and the follow-up as Crayon's going to get the save, and now we're over 2 minutes into overtime.
This is starting to get into red territory for these teams. Overtime is very taxing for anybody playing Rocket League, and they still have many games to play after this for this series, so this needs to wrap up quickly lest these players start getting too exhausted. You can already see they're playing more defensively, both teams not trying to leave a goal open, but that does mean they're creating less opportunities for themselves and just trying to focus on not overcommitting, but you do need follow-up when you go for shots on goal. Greed takes a shot, Zydra will grab it in the air, it's going to go off the back wall. Hawker's better will try to be the follow-up, but it will be redirected.
Now Z Hydra just up on the wall and over. Hawker's trying to rotate back here. Now we're about 3 minutes into overtime.
Have yet to cross our record where we had, I think, almost 8 minutes into overtime.
Yeah.
So this is not something new for these players, but they're probably starting to wonder when that goal is going to be scored. And sweaty comms are about to start happening here soon as we have a great clear from Greed down in the corner. Crayon already rotated back, though, and grabbed that boost, so they're making sure Greed can't get too much power behind their shots. Crayon elevates, playing it off the wall, has to find someone, though. They cannot before Greed gets to that passing lane. The ball's right in front of the goal, and it'll be cleared by Jamazon.
Now in the corner, just a little bit of a tap there. Crayon trying to get a hit on it. But Racer deflecting enough. And another clear sends it back. It's just back and forth between these two teams. And this is why these overtimes can go so long. They just get it's just clear after clear after clear.
The volleys do not stop. That also shows that both teams are rotating quite well. It's just they are not confident in their ability to not overcommit, and that is definitely why it's taking so long to find a goal. But Jamazon being demoed by Hawker might be the opportunity that the Vipers need to find goal number 5, the golden goal. As the Hydra's goal will unfortunately be cleared as Racer takes out Greed. Jamazon spikes it up, has the opportunity to play it around 1. Unfortunately, will lose out their dribble. Hawker is better, passes it to Greed in mid-flight. Now Racer will elevate, trying to play it off the back wall. There's going to be a follow-up shot from Hawker, though, and it's going to hit that crossbar, allowing Jamazon to grab it down. Now looking for the clear here. It's right in front of the Hammerheads goal, though.
A little bit of a tap from Greed with follow-up to Hawker, but it's way off and wide. And it's going to go back into the corner, give Crayon another attempt here at a clear. Now another shot is finally going to find it for Z Hydra. He picks up his hat trick. We basically had a double-length game there.
And you can see that across the board, many players have their badges going off the screen. Just showing how much work was put into this game 2 of a best of 7. Vipers currently up by 2, closing in on that match point. Overall side control went in favor of the Vipers. Boost, pretty equal. Shots on goal, more equal than we saw in the last game. Definitely what we want to see. Probably we'll see it about 50-50 in game 3. Hammerhead showing signs of life. Vipers, though, are going to have, well, Hammerheads need to find a way to shut these Vipers down. And what do you think that way is, Jem?
Ooh, that's really tough. You know, I think that once they were able to focus on Crayon, they were able. Also, I think a slight disadvantage for the Vipers is 2 of the goals that they scored in that match were goals that were scored off of double commits. So I don't know if it's the Vipers getting overconfident. Obviously, I can't read their minds, so I can't say for sure. But it did seem more like the Vipers were making more errors in terms of double commits there. So if the Hammerheads can just kind of clean up their own rotations, I think they're going to be a lot more opportunities to punish the Vipers for the misplays that we're starting to see a little bit more of.
Well, there are Jem's tips going into this next game. I'm hoping that they are followed through to a T, and also I'm hoping to see more explosions. I've kind of always been a fan of the demolitions. I know that not everybody likes them, but I personally love them if they're done well. So let's see if this next game plays out in favor of the Hammerheads or the Vipers. Hammerheads looking to go into game 3 to get the 3rd victory and get closer to that match point. Well, the Vipers looking for match point, whereas the Hammerheads are just looking for their first win here.
And there goes Greed with the shot, trying to get it toward the goal. As Racer is now looking to take it back away from the Vipers and make his own play, but it's going to be interrupted by Z Hydra. Now Greed off in the corner looking to play, but Crayon's going to take it away from him. Try to center it. There it goes, Greed on the counterattack, trying to make another play, and there it is by Hawker. So well aimed and very fast.
Hawker was definitely zooming, and great teamwork demonstration there. The pass between them and Greed, the give, the go, the shot on goal, all perfectly performed. 22 seconds into the round, Vipers already showing that they have not even begun to show us what they have. We've just seen the tip of the iceberg. Zydra and Hawker now going to make a play here in front of the goal. Cran slows down, manages to get in that passing lane, now taking it up the side, has Jamazon rotating back, so someone's got to push forward to help Cran out here. Zydra will corral it in the corner. Racer's been the one to come out and help as a demolition comes out onto Greed, and there was a save on the shot on goal from Greed as well. So your demolition was in favor of your team.
Looking to waterfall it down. There's not an opening. It looks like Greed was just a little bit too late on that one, but there goes Hawker. Seems like when one player isn't quite able to do it, the other steps in for them. In this case, Hawker is a solid backup.
This team is definitely showing their prowess right now and demonstrating that they are in it to win it and climb the ladder here within Esports Tower. The Vipers have been making improvements consistently every single week, as have the Hammerheads. Not a single one of these teams has come into these rumbles without serious improvement from the prior weeks. So it's very exciting to see that paying off for everyone tonight.
There goes the shot from Greed. He didn't want to be left out of the goal-scoring train for too long. Yeah, that's just kind of out of nowhere there. Right above Racer, open goal. Beautifully played.
We still have plenty of time left on the clock right now. If the Vipers are kept from scoring any goals, Hammerheads need to roughly score 1 goal every minute and 12 seconds. It's plenty of time for them. They can do this. Zydra's going to get slowed down. Cran has the ball, grabs that boost, taking up above their own goal into the other corner. He's trying to center it up for Racer, but Racer will overcommit on that one, unfortunately, and get taken out by Hawker is better in the process. Cran stopping the return volley, though, at the midfield. Hawker is better, will spike it down into the corner, has to play it around Jamazon, but Jamazon will get a touch on it, but Greed is there for the follow-up. The rotations and positioning for the Vipers here has just been very solid, allowing them to maintain a lot of side control.
See Hydra trying to elevate up toward the goal, but it's plenty of time for Racer to save, but Greed doesn't want to stop. He's going to play it off the backboard, and Hawker is going to find his hat trick.
Already? Wow, okay, that was quite fast. How many hats do you want tonight?
I don't know. Greed was able to score, I think, 2 hat tricks in one game. So that's the pace that Hawker wants to beat here. But it really seems like, you know, when I was mentioning the double commits I saw from the Vipers, you know, I wasn't the one that noticed. It seems the Vipers noticed themselves and have been able to clean up any errors they had in the second game really well.
Or they hurt you, which is also another possibility. It's not like we can stop them from watching these broadcasts or even dropping things on Twitter. Yes, I'm talking to you, baby. As we continue into this next kickoff, we do have Cran currently trying to corral the ball off the wall. Sends it to Racer at the mid. Racer, though, will be taken out by Zydra. Hawker is better, will play it around 1. It is still here on the side of the Vipers. Racer and Jamazon trying to prevent that clear from happening.
Now 50-50 here is just kind of going to be pinched off to the side. Trying to set it up with a shot from Hawker. Not going to score anything there. Greed is able to keep the side control quite crucially. Z-Hydra with the follow-up almost scores a goal, but it is denied by just the barest of margins.
Gotta love that soccer rule. The entire ball has to cross the line for it to count. It works out in favor of the Hammerheads this time as Greed now has the ball again, just racing around, playing it around 1. Can't play it around Racer, though, so lose out on the ball for a little bit. Hawker is better, comes in to help out. Cran gets in that passing lane before anyone else can. They just have to beat out Z-Hydra. Jamazon and Racer are in positions to receive a pass back. Zydra gets the clear, but Racer will slow down to spike it high at the midfield. Greed comes in to get a shot on goal, where Cran drags it down right in front of the goal, saving it just in time.
Now Jamazon trying to drive it around the corner. Follow up by Greed up the field. Unable to get the centering, though, so Z-Hydra now has to elevate up. Is going to miss on that one. Another one has to rotate in. It's going to be Hawker. But a nice play there by Racer is going to steal it away from them, keep the Vipers on the defense. Greed almost gets a clear there, but it's stopped, and Jamazon's going to be able to find the clear, but it's going to pay for it by getting demoed.
Hawker is better, playing it around 1, but can't play it around Jamazon, who is reading that ball well off the ground. Greed will play it off that corner, though, kind of taking Doc's key and playing it off the wall in the corner better to score goal number 5 for the Vipers.
I would say now that it's probably 5 times 12. Yeah, 5 times 12 is 60, so you're going to have 12 seconds for each goal here. Which, I mean, isn't impossible, but you're going to have to get one off the kickoff here. And if about 20 seconds pass and the Hammerheads haven't scored anything, I think the Vipers have this locked down.
Or you can go ahead and take my advice here, which is opposed to going for those goals, just try to focus on your rotations right now and analyze how the Vipers are going about their play style here if you are the Hammerheads. And remember that this is a best of 7, so even if the Vipers walk away with this lead, they win. They still have to win one more after that, and you could start the turnaround just by preserving your mental gas tank, so to speak, as we have 30 seconds left on this. Hammerhead's kind of just looking for that one goal to make sure that they have some momentum going into our game 4 of the night. Racer might be able to do that as they bring the ball up the side, centering it up for Jamazon, but Hawker is better. Calculating as ever, read it well, was on the ground waiting for them. Cran will spike it high in front of the goal. Hawker is better, will read it again, will elevate, but can't get a touch on it as one of the Hammerheads did deflect it just barely to get possession away from Hawker to prevent the clear.
Just 3 seconds left. And there it is. The Vipers, whatever was bugging them in Game 2 has been vanished without any sort of trace left. They get back to how they were in Game 1, looking very unstoppable as they have now claimed their match point and now just need one more win.
Everything is leaning heavily in favor of the Vipers right now. Boost used, though, is pretty gosh darn equal. I feel like if the Hammerheads start taking away that resource, it's really going to slow down Greed and Hawker. Zydra has done a great job of taking cross-map shots and being a defensive force. However, they aren't the ones that are using that boost. It's definitely the other two. So Hammerheads need to start using that boost starting to their advantage. And you can see our beautiful broadcast and production staff over there in the control room. They're the people that make all the magic happen and allow this to occur. So thank you, all of you guys. Hopefully you'll be able to see more of their faces in the future.
And I think it really is, you know, it's a question of taking Greed or Hawker out of the equation. Or both out of the equation. And so there are multiple ways to do that. You don't always have to go for the flashy demo, whether it's just the bumping or disrupting the plays or the boost starving. There are multiple ways and sort of paths out before them. They just need to choose one that they want to focus on. Go into this with the mentality that it's just the start of the match. You know, don't get ideas of reverse sweep. Oh, we got to win so much. Just focus on the game in front of you, one step at a time. That's going to be the way forward for the Hammerheads.
Yes, always go into every game with the it's 0-0 mentality, so you don't psych yourself out and you play to the best of your ability. And hopefully that kind of pseudo, it's the beginning, helps you with a little bit of your stamina. One other piece of advice, I've seen it done a couple of times, actually here in Esports Tower, twice I believe now, is when someone is a dominating force, rule 1 them. I know it's a little difficult. I know it's kind of cheesy. It's funny to see when it does happen, but make sure that if someone does get rule 1, you do not cast bad juju and break it yourself. Get a teammate to do it. Otherwise, that's just jinxing the whole thing. Don't do it.
Oh, I don't know. It's a little bit... It's a little bit too late in the proceedings right now for me to go on whole issues of, you know, it's a gentleman's agreement, if you will, in terms of Rule 1 and something you can break. I don't know if you go for that strategy, but to me, bringing something out like that seems a little bit more of throwing whatever you can at the wall to see what sticks, because the Vipers are under no obligation right now to follow something like that.
No, they're not, but it is bad juju. I'm telling you, it never works out in your favor if you're the one to break the Rule 1, if you're involved in it yourself. As we go into Game 4's first kickoff, Hawker is better, will get the first touch. Zydra now trying to beat Racer to that ball. Racer will get enough of a touch to send it to the corner. Well, Greed spikes it down. Racer was waiting on the ground. Jamazon and Hawker is better, will elevate. Zydra now has to beat Cran to the ball, but Cran does not care about that presence in front of the goal. They find the first one of this round.
Hawker really the only one with boost there. Z-Hydra just not having enough to make the play that he wanted there. Greed was already off, you know, trying to get his own boost, and so that kind of took him out of the equation. That's a great initial goal there from the Hammerheads. Thing is, the Vipers have found themselves with a goal deficit before, and they're usually able to tie it up pretty fast here.
Greed had a shot on goal that was saved by Jamazon. Cran is waiting over to prevent Hawker's better. Ooh, a double commit between Zydra and Hawker is better will make them lose out on that shot on goal. Racer will get the clear. Greed waiting at the mid will pass it to Hawker's better on the other side. Never mind, Hawker rotated back, running Zydra to get it, probably saying, I'm sorry for doing that earlier. The two of them now working, getting that communication back on track. We got Jamazon who's got to play it around Greed. They might pass back to Racer here, knowing Greed is there. Never mind, they'll leave it to allow Racer to come in. The ball crosses that midfield, but Zydra gets it, will pop it up off their hood, sending it back towards the goal. Cran gets a slight deflect with a follow-up from Racer will be enough to prevent that ball from going in, but all three members of the Hammerheads are pretty close together. They need to spread out to get a clear here.
Z Hydra now with a slight tap there. Jamazon trying to elevate up. Greta's going to take it away from them, and because they didn't double commit, that left Hawker wide open to demo Jamazon.
Got Zydra with the ball here in the corner. They play it over. Two of the members of the Hammerheads. Racer will get taken on by Zydra in the process as well. Hawker is better at the midfield, plays around one. Has Greed to pass to, doesn't need it though, as Hawker is better, will find the first goal for the Vipers. And we're 3 minutes and 30 seconds on the dot in this round. Both teams 1 goal aside. Already a little bit different than we've seen all through this game. Game 4 is playing out slightly different. I feel like every single one of these games in the series thus far has been a bit different, showing all of these players are adapting every single time we start these new rounds.
Hawker with the play off the wall is going to try to air dribble it for the front post there. Going to be credited with the shot on goal, though really didn't have an opportunity to go in there. Greed with the follow-up is going to miss, but Hawker's already rotated back to play defense. Keeps side control going, is going to try again, and a nice, very quick boost steal there. Away from the Hammerheads. You see Jamazon is star for boost right now. Doesn't have any. Racer's also pretty low.
We've got a shot that's going to go a little bit high. Hawker is better. Will volley it right back across that midfield stripe. It's now in the corner. Greed has possession. Racer's on the wall trying to get snagged the ball away. Hawker is better. Already in there, though, sending it back to the midfield to try and center it up for a teammate. Racer will collide with them, though, disrupting that passing lane just enough to prevent the possession of going in favor of the Vipers. We've got Cran going for the clear. Plays it around one, but loses out their dribble.
Now Jamazon drives kind of over the Vipers' goal. They haven't quite yet found any sort of very clear centering. Greta's going to be credited with a save there, and great elevation up there, aimed very well. It bounces off the crossbar, almost is another goal. Follow-up from Greed is going to get disrupted there by Racer, it looks like. But they do get their side control back. Vipers want to keep this follow-up going. Z Hydra with another follow-up. Greed rotating back, waiting to try to read this clear, and is Abe going to be able to stop it?
Got 2 minutes left on the clock. Still 1 goal per team right now. Cram with possession above their own goal. Will play it around one, trying to keep it in the air as long as they can. Unfortunately, they'll drop right down onto Greed's hood. Racer is there to help them out, and Racer will find the second goal for the Hammerheads. Now Hammerheads have 1 goal. They need to find a security goal and then play keep away from the Vipers to maintain this lead.
And there goes Racer putting the Hammerheads back into the running. Still plenty of time for the Vipers to make an equalizer here.
Greed's looking to try and make that equalizer now, but the ball will just go a little bit too wide. We've got all 3 members of the Vipers pushed up pretty far right now, though. However, it might play out as they get shot on goal from Greed, a follow-up shot from Zydra, and that one will find the equalizer with just over 90 seconds on the clock.
They're just quite effortless. You see both Racer and Crayon both kind of in a frantic double commit. They're trying to save it. Not going to be quick enough for it.
Still have plenty of time for this to go either way or to bring us into another overtime. Cran, once again, doing what they do best, winning out that first kickoff. Jamazon trying to be their follow-up. Unfortunately, just a slight wrong angle there for them, allowing Zydra to get in with some help from Hawker is better. And Greed, all 3 of them getting a touch on the ball as Racer gets taken out by Greed. Zydra now trying to center it up. Another demolition will come out. Cran and Hawker will take each other out in due fashion. Ball now on the side of the Vipers.
Greed trying to elevate up. Hawker's going to have a clear shot on goal here. Had to get that through a lot of defenders, though, so unable to get the goal. Crayon there is going to, Greed is hanging back there, waiting to kind of intercept that clear. He's going to be able to do it and dribble it around one. In goes Z Hydra, trying to keep the play going. Not going to be looking for the centering. Hawker's probably going to be the one to shoot there, but Crayon is able to kind of disrupt that and be able to take it away from them. Unfortunately, double commit there for both of them that both whiff. So Racer trying to pick up the pieces there, but that's a very dangerous situation there. Again, 2 of them trying to double commit there. Hammerheads do not want to start making these mistakes in such a crucial moment, and one of their members is going to get demoed, so a double commit is going to be that much more punishing than these next few seconds.
We've got Cram with ball possession here on the side with some help from Racer, trying to kind of mimic what the Vipers did earlier, doing the give and go.
No.
But Reed has a cross-map shot, and the goal was wide open. Unfortunately, when all three of you are working together on the opposite side of the field, your goal is left wide open, and that is one of the risks you take, and it can be a unfortunate death sentence.
Yeah, Hammerhead started to make a lot of fundamental mistakes in the last 30 seconds of this match. They were a lot more double commits. They rotated way too far up the field. I just think they kind of got tunnel vision on trying to score a goal, trying to get their own buzzer beater, and that ultimately was their undoing. Allowed the Vipers to get the victory here as they ground the ball. And a bit unfortunate there, but Vipers managed to sweep this 4-0, although that really doesn't tell the whole story because there were some moments where the Hammerheads did look very competitive here. They just weren't able to get any sort weren't able in the most crucial moments to be able to pull it out of the hat.
Especially with those that extended overtime, definitely showed the competitive equalization of both these teams. Both did very well this evening. Congratulations, Vipers, on your victory. You guys will win out this cup game, but of course there's going to be more to come in the future.
Yeah, ultimately Hammerheads had a lot of promise. I just think some VOD reviews going forward, and I think moving forward in the season, they can greatly improve. Just a few too many mistakes made in the most crucial moments.
Well, if you want to be seen by some expert college recruiters and talk directly to industry insiders like pro athletes and team general managers, you might want to join Esports Tower. Esports Tower gives players insider access to industry insights with our featured Rumbles. Recruiters are taking notice of these events too. It's a great way to score exposure if you're looking to start your path to pro or land one of those insane collegiate scholarships that we got to talk about earlier.
Well, congratulations on the Vipers on winning the Fennec Cup. I understand we have just one more to get to, though.
Yes, but before we do that, we are, of course, going to take a break, allow everyone an opportunity to get a little bit of reprieve, use the bathroom, maybe go touch grass. I don't know if it's cold where you're at. It's pretty cold here. It's a little warm today, but go grab some water, grab a snack, take a breather, and we'll be right back in a couple of minutes.
Visit NationalGuard.com to begin your guard adventure.
Here are a couple lessons I've learned over the years. Friendships come in all shapes and sizes. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
this broadcast of Esports Tower Rumble. We're broadcasting it from the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. We're about to head into our final game of the night between the Panthers, previously known as the Ghosts, in the group stage, trying to head back towards that animal theme I see, going against the Eagles. The Eagles currently lead 2-1 in this series, so we'll see if they can close it out. But before we peek into what's going on currently between the two of them, Jem, I gotta ask, what are your thoughts on this? Because the Ghosts are kind of one of our top contending teams, where the Eagles have always been in our Tower of Doom group stages, so to speak, and they've definitely been coming through and shining quite a bit. How do you feel like tonight's going to turn out for them?
Well, if we were looking at how everything was going to line up for tonight, there were kind of going to be two victors at the end of the night, two teams that had really been proved to be the top tier, and we already saw the first match of that play out with the Hammerheads versus the Vipers, so the question is, who can join the Vipers? You know, the Eagles, I gotta give it to them. The Ghosts remind me very much of kind of like the Gators, and we've seen some great performances from them, but we have also seen, you know, some not great moments as well. So it really just seems kind of like a coin toss of what version of the Ghosts are going to show up today, and I really hope it's a competitive version. I'm already a little bit encouraged by that 2-1, the Ghosts managing to take a game away from the Eagles, so it does show me that there is a lot of promise right here, and so I'm going to be very excited to see how this turns out.
All right, well, before we peek into the match that's currently in progress, I know that some of these players have a tendency to have the Twitch playing in the background, so hopefully they hear me when I'm about to say these next couple of key things that we always bring up before these games start, and those are Doc's keys to the game for Rocket League, because they're very important and some things that always seem to play out in favor of whoever uses them the best. Doc's keys to the game in Rocket League today are create mistakes, punish overcommits, play walls better, and demo to get in that goal. Doc's keys to the game are brought to you by Esports Tower. Score pro advice at esportstower.com. Improve your game sense, improve your team play, improve your performance under pressure. You'll get matched with great players and professional coaches to help you rank up.
So now we're ready to head into the Octane Cup. This is going to be the Eagles versus the Panthers. So the Panthers definitely have a lot of talent, but the Eagles have been considered one of those top-tier teams, so these players have faced off against each other before, though.
Yes, these two rosters are very similar when it comes to skill, but who will come out on top, only time will tell. As we mentioned earlier, we are hopping in midway through. Eagles currently up by 2. Panthers have 1 game in their pocket currently, so it could go either way at this point as we've gone into this first kickoff. Jababy currently has possession, trying to play it around Thrift, but Thrift will drop it off their hood down onto the wall, and it'll be a slight double commit between 2 players at the mid, between Dyer and Adrift Lemming, but Jababy will come in and help them out, and another double commit between the two of them will allow Nano to get a touch on it.
Again, a bit of apology. That is not an overlay error. We actually do have 2 players with the same gamer tag. Hopefully, in the future, we get some sort of way to differentiate between the two. Maybe changing the numbers, I am not so sure. But again, just know that those are indeed 2 different players right now. As one of them, the one for the Eagles, is trying to set up a goal right now with Thrift on the follow-up, and they're going to get into the early lead.
Yes, and the Jababy for the side of the Panthers is actually Crazy Cat.
I don't know. It's a complicated story.
Please, guys, please put your names
at,
back.
at this point, it's starting to become a thing where if you need to start building out separate timelines and have alternate versions of story just to find out the gamer tags, then maybe it's gotten a bit too complicated for its own good.
Now, as we see, we've got Fake Jababy elevating to get the ball and sending it to the side, trying to get it to Thrift, but Adrift Lemming will come in and grab that. It will be sent to the side, but it looks like Jababy tries to come in and get a touch on it. Neither will be able to get the better of it between the two of them. Also, neither one of these are the real Jababy, just a heads up.
Again, like I'm saying, it's like there's alternate timelines and versions of events you all need. There's a lot of deep lore. There's an iceberg that needs to be delved into with some of these gamer tags.
Are we in the prime timeline, or are we in one of the tangents? Only time will tell. If you see Adrift Lemming get taken out by one of the Jababys on the field, and the ball is kind of dead in the water here at the mid. We'll have Jababy and Jababy both try to go after it. Blue Jababy will win out the better touch, allowing Nano for their team to score a goal off their own rebound off that back wall. You know, I think it's the double Jababy that's the bad juju.
Yeah, it's just, but it's certainly not for a beautiful air pass like that. They were both communicating with each other. Nano just aims it kind of perfectly. And so the Eagles starting off very ferociously right now. Kind of been with each minute that passes, they score another goal. So that is not a tempo that the Panthers want to let stand. Now Nano's going to try to make another goal happen. Just a little bit of a tap there to clear it. Thrift is going to try to corral it over toward the corner here.
We have Jababy take out Nano and in process allow that goal to be opened up for a shot to fall in.
You see, unfortunately though, I mean, it is a goal, but I don't know if it's necessarily a goal that you necessarily want to be proud of, since it was technically done off of a double commit.
That's true, and those double commits, we've seen that happen quite a bit for the Panthers. As we mentioned, they are the Ghosts, and that is the thing the Ghosts have had an issue with a lot, is those double commits. It does work out in their favor most of the time, but when a team such as the Eagles is able to take advantage of those double commits, it definitely turns into a disadvantage.
Now we're about halfway through, and a goal scored for the Panthers, just sort of right under everyone's noses. They've been able to find an equalizer here very fast. So this kind of shows why it is 2-1. It is not a done deal. These teams can fight back.
Going into this next kickoff, it looks like Jababy Blue will manage to get the better touch on that one, bringing it into the corner, but the other Jababy will be waiting for them, dragging it around, has to play it around Thrift. Thrift will get a touch on it to disrupt their possession just slightly, and Thrift slowed down in the goal to try and take it away from Adrift Lemming. Dyer, though, comes in to help out their fellow Panthers teammates. Jababy will elevate, spiking it off the ceiling, forcing them to lose their dribble, allowing Nano to come in and send it towards the Panthers' goal, but it will be redirected by Dyer at the last second.
Nano trying to look up for the next play. It's going to pass it off, play it off the wall themselves. That's going to leave Adrift with a very big opportunity to try to clear it, but it's not going to work out. Now Baby Blue is going to try to make the play here, trying to set it up. Just a little bit of a tap there from the Panthers. Are going to push it back toward midfield. Now back over. Dyer is looking for the play, is going to play it up to Baby Orange up on the field, but it's not going to find it. Now it gets pushed back toward the Panthers' goal.
Got Nano trying to read Adrift Lemming's movements here, but they can't do it. Thrift will come in and help to get possession away from the Panthers. Nano has the ball go over their head. Dyer comes in, grabbing that corner boost as well as trying to center it up for Baby Orange. Nano, though, gets the clear, sending it to Baby Blue, who's going to spike it off the ceiling for Thrift, who has a shot on goal. It'll be redirected slightly. Dyer saves it. Adrift Lemming tries to save it, but it's barely a touch from Nano's enough to just squeak it into that goal. It did slow down quite a bit, stalled out here at that goal line for so long, and then finally Nano found it.
Yeah, they would have needed to have someone already back in the goal to be able to save something like that. Off this next kickoff, we have just a little bit over a minute left, and look at the cheat out from Dyer here, almost scores a goal, but isn't going to do it. But I like the immediate play from the Panthers, just trying to equalize it immediately. But they don't find it, so now they'll have a minute left to plan their next strategy.
We have Dyer and Adrift here on the side of Baby Blue. Takes out Dyer. Thrift will take out Adrift Lemming, opening up the field a bit for the Eagles, who are looking to get their Game 3 victory here and get closer to that match point for themselves. They get a shot on goal, but gets a little too much speed and hits that high corner, bouncing out. Dyer now with possession at the mid, tries to elevate, but Thrift beats them to that ball. Nano with a shot on goal. It might just find its way in, and it does, and that's a hat trick for Nano, and the Eagles lead by 2.
That's just one. You see no one is back there defending that goal. Adrift isn't even in the right position where he's going to try to rotate to back post there. I think you might have saw Baby Orange off in the corner, maybe having the right idea and trying to rotate to back post, but it was just way too late. The positioning there just was not working out.
Right now, the Panthers are actually closer to the Eagles' goal than the Eagles themselves. It could be an overcommit that will be there undoing and open the goal for Dyer and Nano, and it does. Eagles now up by 3, 21 seconds left on the clock. One goal every 7 seconds is quite a Herculean task to try to accomplish. So now it might just be GG go next and hope that they can get closer to closing out this game for the Panthers. And just trying to take a moment to relax and finish out these next 20 seconds with the Eagles winning this one out, unfortunately, for them.
Well, Baby Blue trying to make a play right there, right off the bat, but even if you made a play there, you would have to score 2 more right off the kickoff, and less than 10 seconds, it's just 3 goals isn't going to happen. So the Eagles are going to move on to their match point, leaving the Panthers with quite a tall task that they have to answer there. That's going to do it. You can see the stats there. Eagles really had the advantage there against the Panthers. Panthers did technically use more boost, and it was pretty even in side control, but overall in shots on goal, Eagles, the score reflected the stats.
I mean, the more shots you take, the more opportunities you have to score goals at the end of the day, and sometimes just taking as many whacks as you possibly can is what ends up working out in your favor, and not overcommitting, because the Panthers have definitely done that quite a bit in the past. It's something that needs to be rectified. Hopefully in this next game they will fix that and not leave that goal wide open and open up the field for the other team.
Yeah, I know it probably sounds a little bit boring, but it really is those questions of fundamentals of where you position yourself on the field, how your rotations are working out. That's the biggest thing that the Panthers need to clean up if they want to win here. And two attempts off the kickoff. Baby Blue tries to get the goal there. Fortunately, everyone just kind of committed to that kickoff, and it ended up very awkwardly.
We have Dyer and Adrift both here on the side. Kind of a slight double commit. Dyer will come in to try and get the ball. Thrift will come in and try to get the ball away from them. Nano gets pushed around quite a bit by Adrift. Thrift gets it cleared, sends it to Baby Blue. Baby Blue has to play it around Dyer, sends it to Nano. Thrift and Nano will both elevate. Slight double commit from the Eagles. Not something we've seen a whole lot of. Now Baby Orange has the opportunity to bring this one up the side wall. Now elevating. Unfortunately, Baby Blue will take it away. Baby Orange is now going to be Tangerine for me, by the way.
Okay, whatever works to differentiate them. Oh, we actually see a Merc brought out there by Nano. I always love to see something that unaerodynamic be flying through the air. So the Merc has definitely worked out on a few occasions, but for now, Thrift is just going to be happy to score a goal by himself. As Dyer rotates up, the only one left was Baby Orange. You can see him knocked out of the way there by Nano, leaves it wide open for Thrift. Very well played.
Very interesting you bring up aerodynamics, because the Eagles, trying to stick with their theme of being birds, has been working on their aerial car control as well as team communication in what you say and how you say it, which has helped them improve team morale. So apparently there was some slight snarkiness happening in the past, so glad that got cleared up.
Yeah, that's definitely never what you want to have here. You know, as much as we can be sarcastic and make jokes here, as something like that where you're being snarky or passive aggressive to a teammates, I mean, that is just, that kind of stuff is like poison. You always want to be focusing on problem solving and working collaboratively as a team if you want to be performing well.
And right now, both teams are performing quite well, at least in my opinion. I think you might be able to agree with that, as we are tied to one aside right now. Adrift Lemming finding that goal with a little bit of help from their teammate Dyer. They're getting some great disruption happening on that goalkeeper. We still have 3 minutes and 30 seconds left on the clock, though, and one goal aside has not been very telling of how these games have shaken out thus far this evening.
Dyer looking to make a play there, but Thrift is back in the goal, ready to defend. Unfortunately, he misreads it. That's going to be a very quick goal there for Nano. Not Nano, excuse me. Dyer. Nano, unfortunately, all he could do was just watch on. So now the Panthers back with a bit of a second wind here and an opportunity before them to keep this series going.
Dyer and Thrift will collide at the midfield. Nano will take out Dyer. Baby Blue will take out Adrift. Thrift gets a shot, but it's a little bit too far to one side. Baby Blue and Thrift are getting a lot of pressure put on them. Nano rotates back, tries to steal that corner boost away, manages to do it, but now has to use this rather ungraceful car to get a shot on goal. Tangerine, though, will come in and score a goal for the Panthers.
Now the Panthers have a pretty hefty goal lead.
Still
3-1. Well, it's not insurmountable, I should say, but having that one insurance goal can definitely help.
Not even having to score one goal a minute, the Eagles definitely have time to turn this one around. They've been cleaning up every mistake, all the mistakes we've been seeing thus far. As you see Baby Blue spike that ball against the ceiling, and Tangerine will elevate and do just the same, allowing Adrift Lemming to grab that ball, but Baby Blue will spike it away from them. Dyer is waiting on the ground, trying to play it around Nano currently. Nano, though, might be able to get it around them with a little help from Tangerine. It'll be spiked to the left side where Adrift Lemming will grab it. Still on the side of the Panthers, though, so they need to get it cleared. They do, as Baby Blue, though, spikes it in front of the Eagles' goal. Now Adrift Lemming goes for a high shot to try and center it up for Tangerine, but Baby Blue will find it first.
Now Thrift off of the wall trying to make a play. Nano with a nice shot there is going to be deflected back down toward the ground. Here goes Baby Blue trying to make a play off of the backboard. Unfortunately, Thrift right there. Oh, I can't believe he was able to get that goal. That's insane.
And now the Eagles are just down by 1 goal with a little more than 2 minutes left on the clock. Plenty of time for either one of these teams to start running away with the lead here. But the Panthers trying to find another win lest the Eagles be at Eagles already at match point, just looking for one more win to close out this cup game. Panthers trying to extend the series up by 1, but need to maintain their lead and no longer have that security goal.
There goes Nano to bounce it over toward Thrift, but Thrift was unable to make the play there. Baby Blue hanging back, trying to make a play. Going to go up the field. Now has to contest with 2 to get this centering. Is actually going to go and kind of demo the other Baby Orange, and it kind of works out as Thrift is able to score.
We're now tied 3 aside, just past that 100-second mark left in what could be our last game of this evening. Panthers need to find a goal and plus 1 more to sit pretty for a little bit if they're looking to maintain an easy lead here. Eagles looking for that as well. Got 1 minute and 46 seconds left on the clock. Nano and Dyer will collide here on the side of the Eagles as Thrift comes in to spike it up. Fortunately for them, a Drift Lemming will get a better touch on it, sending it towards the goal, but it will be redirected as Dyer comes in to be the follow-up, but they will not be able to get a shot in.
There goes Jababy and Nano trying to punt it up. Unfortunately, that was a bit of a double commit. Another one there for the Eagles. That's not what they want to be doing right now. Now Baby Blue sees the green light, is going to be contesting with the Baby Orange in the corner here, trying to set it up for Thrift, who's waiting, but Baby Orange gets a tap on it. Look at that, though, a reverse into the goal. That's going to be crucial for the Eagles.
That is goal number 4 for them. They're up by 1, still have a minute and I think 8 seconds left on the clock. So they have the opportunity to maintain this lead, possibly get a security goal, but they need to play keep away and not let the Panthers get another goal here if they want to walk away with this game victory and walk away with the cup win.
It really has been a recurring pattern here tonight, is that kind of the team that is behind gets a few early goals, and it looks like they might be on their way to keeping the series going, but then kind of in the final half of the game, things just start collapsing for them. We've seen it in multiple series now. I think this is the 3rd series we've seen where this pattern plays out.
Look at that cross-map snipe shot from Thrift. That was beautiful and well calculated. Now 1 minute left on the clock. Panthers down by 2. They need to win this kickoff. They've got 30 seconds apiece to score a goal, but Baby Blue is just going to score number 6 anyway. Does not matter. Now doubling the score of the Panthers. It's going to be quite the task to close this gap out. It's still doable. We've seen 4 goals scored in this amount of time before at Esports Tower. It's just not easy.
Yeah, I think that is kind of the final nail in the coffin there. I'm going to be willing to call it at this time. I know we don't necessarily like to call things as casters, but just the way things are going, it seems like the Eagles are unstoppable. Even with that 1 goal, I'm going to stick by my prediction. I'm going to be fully willing to eat crow here, but this is my prediction. I still think that 3 goals in 1 minute is a bit too much to overcome here.
That's a bold claim there, Jem. No.
I'm willing to stake my claim here.
All right. Well, we'll see if Jem's claim comes to fruition as we have 48 seconds left on this clock. Nano spikes the ball high here at the midfield. A Drift Lemming will redirect it slightly with a little help from Dyer. It's going to be coasting into an open goal, bringing their score up to 5, and our differential now just 1 goal with 50 seconds left on the clock. Panthers looking to equalize this out, whereas the Eagles looking for that security goal to be sitting in a nice position to close out this game without worrying into going into another game after this one. 40 seconds left. Only time will tell if Jem is right or not.
Well, we'll just have to see. Something's going kind of wrong for the Eagles here as 2 goals clear off the kickoff there. And they're going to be able to demo Dyer. That is going to give them some much-needed time. So they're going to clear this and kind of run out the timer. That's going to be another 5 to 10 seconds bled off. Every sort of clear here you can kind of think is going to be about 5 to 10 seconds off of that timer. So Jababy able to get this one here is kind of huge.
And they played around the corner to Dyer, who's now completely trying to bring this ball up on their own. We have 9 seconds left on the clock. Nano's going to try to slow the ball down. A Drift Lemming gets a shot in on the goal. It's too wide. Thrift will redirect it to the other side. 3 seconds left. 2 seconds left. Ball hits the ground now. It's game over. Panthers cannot bring this one back. It's high in the air. Everyone trying to keep it alive, but it's going to touch the ground eventually. Nano doesn't try to ground it, which is surprising. Jababy spikes it high. Dyer, Nano, both playing pass back and forth. Baby Blue keeps it alive as well. This ball needs to hit the ground. Otherwise, you could spell your own doom, and it finally does, and the Esports Tower Eagles will walk away with that victory.
All right, my claim stands. I was a bit nervous there, but Ooh, I'm not going to be too humiliated.
No.
That crow is just going to have to sit in the fridge for another serving.
You did a good job. Honestly, I don't like Castor cursing us, but you were bold.
I was bold and it paid off there. The Eagles doing really good there, and not to discount the Panthers. They definitely had some great moments. It looked like they might have tied it up in the end there. I just think the main thing for all of these teams is going to be looking how to bring it home, because a lot of these teams trying to fight back got a slight lead, you know, when their backs were up against the wall, but then just working on that second half of the game is going to be the main thing.
Yep, and unfortunately, that just did not work out in favor for the Panthers tonight, but perhaps next week. And in next week, if you want the opportunity to be seen by expert college recruiters, talk directly to industry insiders like pro athletes, team general managers, game producers, then join the club. Esports Tower players get insider access to industry insights with our featured rumbles, and recruiters are taking notice of these events as well. It's a great way to score exposure if you're looking to start your path to pro or land a collegiate scholarship. All right, we have one last thing to do. Our final job. Well, kind of, because we only get to give suggestions. It's the ICCU player of the game. And, Jem, who do you think should get crowned the title
I think Gravity, you know, from way back, I think it was the second match. But anyway, they just made so many plays and were kind of the star player for their team that I wouldn't be surprised if we saw it given to them.
I'm actually very happy because I did not, that was not who I was going to suggest. I'm actually going to suggest Hawker is better. But at the end of the day, we don't get to make the final call. We are only given
could also give it to Greed, now that you mention it. Greed?
Yes. And is it Hawker is better?
It's Greed.
It's Greed. Okay, all right. Well, the ICCU player of the game is brought to you by Idaho Central Credit Union, who believes great players make a team more successful, just like Idaho Central's helping members achieve financial success. Greed is our Idaho Central Credit Union player of the game. Congratulations, Greed.
And really, for a player that was able to get a double hat trick, which is not something you see every day, it is kind of well-earned. Greed was just kind of unstoppable. One of the first players really tonight to try to, you know, max out their activity feed and just kind of roll it over with as much as they were doing.
Yeah, I mean, double hat trick is insane. Honestly, do you have any big takeaways from tonight, Jim?
I mean, I think it really is in just the ability to maintain a lead. It seems like that was the main thing that a lot of these teams were struggling with, especially the teams that really kind of needed to get some wins if they wanted to make the series competitive again. They were really good at starting out, but it's kind of in any sports something a lot of teams struggle with, you know, having that early lead, but then maintaining it when the stakes really come down to it.
Well, despite that, I will give a great round of congratulations to all of our Cup game winners tonight for our Week 2 Rumble. That also featured several new teams, all of whom had strong performances and will be building off of tonight going forward. Once again, the Eagles have claimed the top spot in the Rumble as the Octane Cup champions and seem to be putting a gap between themselves and everyone else. Who can knock them off the top next week? Maybe the Barracudas will make a return. We'll have to wait and see. And if you want to be the one, be sure to find out. Come back here next week at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to catch the start of our Week 3. We'll be closing out with our top 5 presented today by the Idaho Army National Guard, who invites you to take your critical thinking skills into real time with more than 10 job offerings with $20,000 in bonus and your degree of choice paid for. The Idaho Army National Guard is the best team out there.
Greed, though, demoed, and that kind of stops the whole play. This is exactly what we were talking about, you know, kind of take the offensive player out of it, and look what happens.
I know it seems mean, and I know that if you are on Twitter and you follow Rocket League, that a lot of people are like playing Demolition Derby in Rocket League is one of the dumbest
Not
things.
enough for them to get the clear, so now they have to play defense, and he's trying to bump and demo Crayon out of the way, and it worked.
That was a 2-on-1 for Cran. Unfortunately, you blocked one, but you cannot block this follow-up attempt. As you've rotated out, and Zybra took advantage of that, finding goal number 3. There's still time for the Hammer. Lennox in the midfield, ready for a pass. Narf will take out Sadness. Nonum goes for a shot on goal. It's going to hit that top corner, but a follow-up to Zacone, who has just been a dominating force this evening, finds another goal.
And unless you can score a goal, one goal for each second left, I don't really think that there's much. It looked like Greed actually got in the way there. Z-Hydra is ready for another shot on goal. Look at the commit from both teams.
And Hawker will use that to their advantage. 4 people in the air, leaves 2 on the ground, and one of them was their own teammate. So they had the opportunity to they capitalized on that in due fashion. Hawker has apparently been a great brand. They want to see an opportunity for this to go into overtime. It ball's right in front of the goal. They just need someone to come in, and they do. Yes, Razor! And we're overtime of the night with that buzzer beater goal coming out from the Hammerheads, bringing us tied 4 aside.